Once upon a time, in the heart of a misty forest, there was a quaint village named Luminera. The village was known for its vibrant gardens and shimmering streams, but it had one unique treasure, a magical lantern that was said to light the way for anyone who was lost or in need. The lantern was housed in the village's oldest cottage, which belonged to an elderly woman named Grandma Esme. She was known throughout the land for her kindness and wisdom. The lantern was a family heirloom, passed down through generations, and its soft, golden glow was believed to have the power to reveal hidden truths and guide people through their darkest hours. One day, the village was visited by a young prince named Leo from the neighboring kingdom of Eldoria. He had heard tales of the enchanted lantern and was intrigued by its magic. The prince was on a quest to find a rare and precious flower known as the moon blossom, which only bloomed once every 100 years under the light of the full moon. The moon blossom had the power to cure his kingdom's ailing land. Grandma Esme welcomed Prince Leo warmly and listened to his tale. "The moon blossom is indeed a rare flower," she said, "and its blooming is a sight to behold. However, finding it requires more than just luck. It requires a heart that is pure and intentions that are true." The prince, determined to help his kingdom, asked Grandma Esme if she would lend him the enchanted lantern to aid in his quest. She agreed, but only if Leo promised to return it once his mission was complete, for the lantern held great significance to her family. With the lantern in hand, Prince Leo set out into the forest under the light of the full moon. The lantern's warm glow guided his path through the tangled woods and winding streams. As he ventured deeper, he encountered various challenges: swift rivers, steep cliffs, and dense thickets. Yet, the lantern's light always found a way to show him the safest path forward. During his journey, Leo came across a small, mysterious creature, a talking fox named Finn. Finn had a coat of shimmering silver and eyes that sparkled with curiosity. "Why are you traveling so far into the forest?" Finn asked. "I am searching for the moon blossom," Prince Leo explained. "It is said to bloom only under the full moon, and I need it to save my kingdom." Finn's eyes widened with understanding. "I know where the moon blossom blooms, but it's a dangerous path. The lantern's light will help you, but you must also have a brave heart and a clear mind." Grateful for Finn's help, Leo followed him through the forest. The two of them faced many trials, from crossing rickety bridges to outsmarting mischievous sprites. With the lantern's guidance and Finn's assistance, they finally reached a secluded glade bathed in moonlight. In the center of the glade was a majestic flower, the moon blossom. Its petals glowed with an ethereal light, and its fragrance filled the air with a sense of peace and hope. Prince Leo carefully collected the moon blossom and thanked Finn for his guidance. As he turned to leave, he noticed that the lantern's light was growing dim. The enchantment that had guided him was fading, and the path back seemed uncertain. Leo realized that he needed to return the lantern to Grandma Esme, as promised. With the moon blossom secured, Leo made his way back to the village. The journey was still challenging, but the memories of his adventure and his commitment to his kingdom's welfare kept him steady. Upon returning the lantern to Grandma Esme, he presented her with the moon blossom. "You have fulfilled your promise," Grandma Esme said, smiling. "And you have shown great courage and purity of heart. The lantern will continue to guide those in need, and the moon blossom will heal your kingdom." Prince Leo returned to Eldoria, where the moon blossom was used to restore the land to its former glory. His kingdom thrived once more, and he was celebrated as a hero. He often thought fondly of the enchanted lantern in the village of Luminera, where his journey had begun. The lantern remained in Grandma Esme's cottage, its light still shining brightly for those who sought guidance. The story of Prince Leo and the enchanted lantern became a beloved legend in Luminera, reminding everyone of the power of bravery, kindness, and the magic of a guiding light. And so, the village of Luminera continued to glow with the light of hope and adventure, ever ready to illuminate the path for those who ventured into the forest in search of their own dreams. The end. Once upon a time, in the tranquil kingdom of Verdantia, there stood a grand castle surrounded by lush forests and sparkling lakes. Within the castle's highest tower, hidden behind a curtain of ivy, was a magical mirror known as the Enchanted Mirror. This mirror was said to have the power to reveal the deepest truth of anyone who gazed into it. In Verdantia lived a young princess named Amara. Amara was known for her kindness and grace, but she often wondered if her true self matched the virtues that everyone admired. One day, as she wandered through the castle's library, she stumbled upon an ancient book that spoke of the enchanted mirror. Her curiosity was piqued, and she resolved to find it and discover her true self. Determined, Princess Amara set out on a quest to locate the mirror. She enlisted the help of her royal friend, a clever talking raven named Corwin, who was known for his sharp wit and resourcefulness. The journey was not an easy one. The path to the tower was concealed by an intricate maze of enchanted brambles and magical creatures. As Amara and Corwin ventured into the forest, they encountered their first challenge, a mischievous sprite named Lila who guarded the entrance to the maze. "To pass, you must solve my riddle," Lila said with a twinkle in her eye. Lila's riddle was, "I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I?" Amara thought carefully and answered, "A joke." Lila clapped her tiny hands in delight. "Correct. You may proceed. But beware, the maze is full of illusions and tricks." With Lila's blessing, Amara and Corwin entered the maze. The brambles seemed to shift and change, but Corwin's keen eyes and Amara's patience helped them navigate the twists and turns. They finally emerged from the maze and reached the base of the high tower. The tower's entrance was locked with a heavy door. To open it, they had to find the 3 keys hidden in the nearby woods. The first key was guarded by a wise old tortoise named Thaddeus, who resided in a serene pond. "To earn the first key, you must answer my question," Thaddeus said. "What is the most important thing to remember when seeking the truth?" Thaddeus asked. Amara thought deeply and replied, "To seek the truth with an open heart and without prejudice." Thaddeus nodded in approval and handed over the first key. "You may proceed." The second key was hidden in a grove of singing trees. Each tree had a unique melody, and Amara had to listen carefully to find the right song that led her to the key. With Corwin's help, she discovered the correct melody and obtained the second key. The final key was guarded by a fierce, but misunderstood dragon named Eldrick. Eldrick was known for his fiery temper, but Amara approached him with kindness and respect. "Why should I give you the key?" Eldrick rumbled. Amara looked into Eldrick's eyes and said, "I seek to discover my true self, not for vanity, but to better serve those around me. I believe understanding myself will help me be a better leader." Touched by her sincerity, Eldrick handed over the final key. "You may have it. May your quest bring you the truth you seek." With all 3 keys in hand, Amara and Corwin unlocked the tower door and climbed the spiral staircase to the top. There, they found the enchanted mirror, shimmering with an ethereal glow. Amara took a deep breath and gazed into the mirror. Instead of showing her a reflection, the mirror revealed a vision of her past actions, both great and small. She saw the kindness she had shown to others, her courage in difficult times, and her genuine desire to help her kingdom. The mirror spoke in a gentle voice. "You sought the truth not for vanity, but to understand your heart and your purpose. The reflection you see is a true representation of your inner self." Amara smiled with newfound clarity. "Thank you." Corwin perched on her shoulder, his eyes twinkling. "You found what you were seeking." With the enchanted mirror's blessing, Amara and Corwin returned to Verdantia, their hearts light with the knowledge of her true self. The kingdom celebrated her return with joy and admiration, and Princess Amara continued to rule with wisdom and compassion. And so, the kingdom of Verdantia thrived under Amara's gentle and just rule, and the story of the enchanted mirror became a cherished tale, reminding all who heard it of the importance of understanding and embracing one's true self. And they lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a land where the moon was always full and cast a silver glow upon the world, there was a hidden kingdom known as Lunaria. Lunaria was a magical place where everything sparkled under the moonlight, and its people were blessed with eternal joy and prosperity. At the heart of Lunaria was a grand castle, and within its deepest chamber lay a mysterious door adorned with intricate moon-shaped carvings. This door had remained closed for centuries, for it was said that only the Moonlit Key could unlock it. The Moonlit Key was a legendary artifact said to possess the power to grant a single, profound wish to the kingdom. However, it had been lost many generations ago, and the door remained unopened, its secrets hidden from all. One day, a curious and kind-hearted girl named Lyra, who lived in a small village near Lunaria, overheard a tale about the Moonlit Key and the mysterious door. Determined to help her village, which had recently fallen on hard times, she decided to embark on a quest to find the Moonlit Key and unlock the secrets of the ancient door. The first challenge, the Forest of Whispers. Lyra's journey began in the Forest of Whispers, a magical woodland where the trees were said to whisper ancient secrets and tales. As she wandered through the forest, she encountered a wise old tree with bark that shimmered like silver. To pass through the Forest of Whispers, the tree said in a gentle, rustling voice, "You must solve this riddle. I have cities but no houses, mountains but no trees, and water but no fish. What am I?" Lyra thought carefully and answered, "A map." The wise old tree's bark glowed warmly, and it parted to reveal a hidden path. "Follow this path to reach the next challenge," the tree instructed. The second challenge, the River of Reflections. Lyra followed the path and soon arrived at the River of Reflections, a serene river with water so clear it mirrored the sky and the surrounding trees perfectly. The river was guarded by a graceful swan with feathers that sparkled like moonlight. To cross the River of Reflections, the swan said softly, "You must answer this question. What has keys but can't open locks, has space but no room, and you can play it but not touch it?" Lyra pondered the question and replied, "A piano." The swan's feathers glowed with approval, and it created a shimmering bridge of light across the river. Lyra crossed the river with a sense of accomplishment and hope. The third challenge, the Cavern of Echoes. On the other side of the river, Lyra discovered the Cavern of Echoes, a grand cave filled with sparkling crystals that cast mesmerizing patterns of light. At the entrance of the cavern stood a grand, ancient door covered in celestial symbols. A soothing voice echoed from within the cavern, "To unlock this door and find the Moonlit Key, you must reveal your true heart. Share your deepest wish and prove that you seek it with pure intentions." Lyra took a deep breath and spoke from her heart, "My deepest wish is to find the Moonlit Key and use its power to help my village, so that they can prosper and find joy again." The cavern's walls shimmered with a soft, silvery light, and the grand door slowly creaked open to reveal the Moonlit Key resting on a pedestal, glowing with a soft, magical light. The revelation, restoring the kingdom. With the Moonlit Key in hand, Lyra returned to Lunaria. She approached the mysterious door in the castle's deepest chamber and carefully inserted the key. As the door swung open, a brilliant light filled the room, revealing a magnificent treasure trove of ancient knowledge, magical artifacts, and wondrous gifts. The light from the open door spread throughout Lunaria, restoring its former glory and bringing prosperity and happiness to the land. The people of Lunaria rejoiced, their joy and gratitude filling the air. Lyra's village also benefited from the Moonlit Key's magic, with the land flourishing and the villagers finding renewed hope and joy. The tale of Lyra's quest became a cherished story, a symbol of bravery and the power of a pure heart. Under the radiant light of the Moonlit Key, Lunaria and Lyra's village thrived, forever grateful for the courageous girl who had unlocked the door to their dreams and restored their happiness. The Moonlit Garden. Once upon a time, in a charming village nestled between emerald hills and sparkling streams, there was a hidden garden known only to a few. This garden was said to bloom only under the light of the full moon, and it was believed to hold the secrets of nature's most wondrous plants. In this village lived a young girl named Lila, who was known for her love of nature and her deep curiosity about the world. She often dreamt of discovering the moonlit garden and uncovering its mysteries. Her grandmother had told her stories of its magical flowers that could heal any ailment and its fruits that could grant dreams. One evening, as the full moon began to rise and bathe the world in its soft, silvery light, Lila decided to follow the old tales and find the elusive garden. She packed a small satchel with a lantern, a notebook, and some snacks, and set out towards the edge of the forest where the garden was rumored to be hidden. As Lila wandered through the moonlit woods, she felt a sense of magic in the air. The trees seemed to whisper secrets, and the ground sparkled with tiny, glowing fireflies. Following a path marked by glowing mushrooms, she ventured deeper into the forest. After a while, Lila arrived at a clearing where the moonlight illuminated a majestic, ancient oak tree. Beneath the tree was an old wooden door, covered in vines and adorned with glowing runes. With a deep breath and a touch of excitement, Lila opened the door and stepped into the moonlit garden. The garden was more magnificent than she had ever imagined. Moonlight danced across lush, flowering plants that shimmered in hues of silver and blue. The air was filled with the sweet fragrance of blooming nightshade flowers and the soft hum of magical creatures flitting about. In the center of the garden was a large, crystal-clear pond, its surface reflecting the moonlight like a mirror. Beside the pond stood a wise old figure with flowing silver robes and a kind face, the guardian of the moonlit garden. "Welcome, Lila," the guardian said in a voice as gentle as a whisper. "I have been expecting you. What brings you to the moonlit garden?" Lila's eyes widened with wonder. "I have heard tales of the garden's magic and came to see it for myself. I want to help my village, which has been struggling with a terrible drought. Can the garden help?" The guardian smiled warmly. "The moonlit garden holds many wonders, and it is here to share its gifts with those who seek them with pure hearts. There is a special flower in this garden called the moon blossom. It can bring forth rain and restore life to the land. But to find it, you must prove your worth by solving a riddle." With a nod of determination, Lila listened as the guardian spoke the riddle. "I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?" Lila thought carefully, her mind racing through the possibilities. After a moment, a smile spread across her face. "The answer is fire." The guardian's eyes sparkled with approval. "Well done, Lila. You have proven yourself worthy. The moon blossom can be found at the heart of the garden, near the pond. Follow the light of the fireflies, and you will find it." Lila thanked the guardian and followed the path illuminated by the fireflies. At the heart of the garden, she found a breathtaking flower with petals that shimmered like liquid moonlight. She carefully picked the moon blossom and made her way back to the village. As she approached the village, Lila saw the villagers gathered around, their faces filled with worry. She held up the moon blossom, and its light began to glow even brighter. Lila placed the flower in the center of the village square and whispered a heartfelt wish for rain. The sky above the village darkened, and soon, a gentle rain began to fall. The parched land drank in the water, and the fields began to show signs of life. The villagers cheered with joy as the garden's magic restored their land and their hope. Lila was celebrated as a hero, and the moonlit garden became a cherished part of the village's lore. The garden continued to thrive under the moonlight, a symbol of magic and hope. And so, the village flourished, and Lila's bravery and kindness were remembered for generations. The moonlit garden remained a magical place where dreams and wishes came to life, thanks to a girl who believed in the power of nature and the magic of the moon. And they all lived happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed this fairy tale. Once upon a time, in the mystical land of Alaria, nestled between the snow-capped mountains and the emerald forests, there was a small village called Lumina. The village was known for its serene beauty and the moonlit lake, which shimmered with an otherworldly glow under the light of the full moon. The lake was said to hold ancient magic, and its waters could grant one wish every 100 years. In Lumina lived a young girl named Lyra, who had a heart as bright as the moon and a spirit as free as the wind. Lyra's father was the village blacksmith, and her mother tended to their small garden, growing the most beautiful flowers in the village. Lyra loved to spend her evenings by the moonlit lake, listening to the tales of the old storyteller, Elian, who often spoke of the lake's magic. One evening, as Lyra sat by the lake, Elian told the story of the moonlit lake's guardian, a benevolent spirit who protected the lake's magic and granted wishes to those pure of heart. According to the legend, the guardian only appeared once every 100 years during the festival of the full moon. This year marked the 100th anniversary, and the village was abuzz with excitement and hope. Lyra's heart ached with a secret wish she had held for years. Her mother had fallen ill, and no healer in the village could cure her. She hoped to ask the guardian to heal her mother. Determined to meet the guardian, Lyra decided to visit the lake during the festival. On the night of the festival of the full moon, the villagers gathered around the moonlit lake, celebrating with music, dance, and feasts. As the moon reached its highest point, Lyra slipped away from the crowd and approached the water's edge. She knelt by the lake and whispered her wish to the shimmering waters. "Please, guardian of the moonlit lake, heal my mother and restore her health." The lake's surface began to ripple, and a soft, ethereal light emerged from the depths. Slowly, a figure appeared, a beautiful, radiant woman with flowing silver hair and eyes that sparkled like stars. She was the guardian of the moonlit lake. "Lyra," the guardian spoke in a voice like a gentle breeze, "your heart is pure and your wish selfless. I will grant your request, but first, you must prove your courage and kindness." The guardian's words echoed through the night, and Lyra found herself standing in a lush, enchanted forest. The guardian's voice guided her. "In this forest lies a creature in need of help. Show your kindness by aiding it, and you will move closer to fulfilling your wish." Lyra wandered through the forest until she heard a faint whimper. Following the sound, she discovered a young unicorn, its leg trapped under a fallen tree. With great effort, Lyra managed to lift the tree just enough for the unicorn to free itself. The grateful creature nuzzled her and then transformed into a beam of light, leading her back to the lake. The guardian appeared once more. "You have shown kindness, Lyra. Now, for your second test, the test of courage. Beyond the forest lies a dark cave. Inside, you will find a crystal that holds the essence of the moon. Retrieve it, and you will prove your bravery." Lyra made her way to the cave, its entrance shrouded in shadows. Taking a deep breath, she stepped inside, guided by the faint glow of the moonlight. The cave was filled with eerie sounds and dark corners, but Lyra pressed on, her determination unwavering. Deep within the cave, she found the moon crystal, glowing softly. As she reached for it, the cave began to tremble, and rocks started to fall. Lyra grabbed the crystal and ran, narrowly escaping the collapsing cave. She emerged into the night, the moon crystal safe in her hands. The guardian appeared once more, her smile radiant. "You have shown both kindness and courage, Lyra. Your heart is true, and your wish shall be granted." With a wave of her hand, the guardian used the moon crystal's magic to heal Lyra's mother. The light from the crystal enveloped her, and when it faded, Lyra's mother stood healthy and strong, her illness completely gone. Tears of joy filled Lyra's eyes as she embraced her mother. The villagers, witnessing the miracle, rejoiced and celebrated Lyra's bravery and the guardian's benevolence. The guardian spoke one last time, "Lyra, you have restored faith and hope in the hearts of your people. The magic of the moonlit lake will always protect you and your village. Remember, true magic lies in the purity of the heart." With those words, the guardian vanished, and the lake returned to its tranquil state. Lyra and her mother walked back to the village, their hearts filled with gratitude and joy. From that night on, Lumina thrived, its people living in harmony with the magic of the moonlit lake. Lyra grew up to be a wise and kind leader, always reminding her people of the importance of courage and kindness. And so, the tale of Lyra and the moonlit lake was passed down through generations, a timeless story of love, bravery, and the magic that lies within a pure heart. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a lush and vibrant forest called Evergreen, there lived a tiny mouse named Milo. Milo was no ordinary mouse. He had a heart as brave as a lion and a curiosity that knew no bounds. The forest was his playground, and he spent his days exploring its nooks and crannies, always seeking new adventures. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the forest was bathed in the soft glow of twilight, Milo overheard a conversation between two old oak trees. They whispered about a mysterious crystal flower hidden deep within the enchanted grove. The crystal flower was said to possess incredible magical powers, capable of granting any wish to the one who found it. But the grove was dangerous, filled with traps and guarded by a fierce and cunning serpent. Milo's whiskers twitched with excitement. He thought of his family and friends and how the crystal flower could bring prosperity to their small community. Determined to find the flower, he set off on his journey that very night, guided by the light of the full moon. As Milo ventured deeper into the forest, he encountered a wise old owl named Athena. Perched high on a branch, Athena looked down at Milo with her piercing eyes. "Where are you headed, little one?" she hooted softly. "I seek the crystal flower in the enchanted grove," Milo replied. "I want to help my family and friends." Athena nodded, impressed by Milo's courage. "The path to the enchanted grove is fraught with danger. You will need wisdom and bravery to succeed. Take this feather," she said, plucking a feather from her wing. "It will protect you from harm." Milo thanked Athena and continued on his way, clutching the feather tightly. As he approached the entrance to the enchanted grove, he noticed the air growing colder, and an eerie silence fell over the forest. The trees here were twisted and gnarled, their branches reaching out like skeletal arms. Suddenly, a rustling sound broke the silence. Milo turned to see a fox with a sleek, reddish coat and cunning eyes emerge from the shadows. "What brings you to the enchanted grove, little mouse?" the fox asked, its voice smooth and menacing. "I seek the crystal flower," Milo answered, standing tall despite his fear. The fox chuckled. "Many have tried, but none have succeeded. The serpent that guards the flower is relentless. But perhaps I can help you. Answer my riddle, and I will show you the way." Milo nodded, his mind racing. "Very well," he said. The fox's eyes gleamed. "What has keys but can't open locks, has space but no room, and you can enter but not go inside?" Milo thought for a moment, then smiled. "A keyboard," he replied confidently. The fox's grin widened. "Correct, little mouse. Follow this path, but beware of the serpent." With the fox's guidance, Milo continued deeper into the grove until he reached a clearing bathed in moonlight. In the center of the clearing stood the crystal flower, its petals shimmering with an otherworldly glow. But coiled around the flower was the serpent, its scales glistening like polished emeralds and its eyes fixed on Milo. "Who dares approach my flower?" the serpent hissed, its voice a venomous whisper. "I am Milo, and I seek the crystal flower to help my family and friends," Milo said bravely, holding up Athena's feather. The serpent eyed the feather warily, recognizing its protective magic. "Very well, Milo. If you wish to claim the flower, you must prove your worth. Tell me, what is the greatest power in the world?" Milo thought about his adventures and the friends who had helped him along the way. He looked into the serpent's eyes and said, "The greatest power in the world is love. It is love that drives us to be brave, to seek wisdom, and to help others." The serpent stared at Milo for a long moment, then slowly uncoiled itself from around the flower. "You have answered wisely, little mouse. The crystal flower is yours." With a grateful heart, Milo approached the flower and gently plucked it from the ground. As he did, a warm light enveloped him, and he felt a surge of magic flow through him. The flower's power was now his to command. Milo returned to his village, where he was greeted with cheers and tears of joy. Using the magic of the crystal flower, he brought prosperity to his community, ensuring that no one would ever go hungry or thirsty again. The forest flourished, and the animals lived in harmony, all thanks to the bravery and love of a tiny mouse named Milo. And so, Milo's legend spread far and wide, reminding everyone that even the smallest among us can achieve great things when driven by love and courage. The end. Once upon a time, in a peaceful village surrounded by towering mountains and dense forests, there lived a brave little squirrel named Sammy. Sammy had fluffy, reddish-brown fur and bright, curious eyes. He loved exploring the forest and was known for his adventurous spirit. While the other squirrels spent their days gathering nuts and playing in the treetops, Sammy always dreamed of discovering new and magical places. One autumn afternoon, as Sammy was scampering through the forest, he came across an old, weathered map tucked inside the hollow of an ancient oak tree. The map was covered in strange symbols and showed the way to a place called the Enchanted Orchard. Sammy's heart raced with excitement. He had heard legends about this orchard, a place where magical fruits grew, each with special powers. Determined to find the enchanted orchard, Sammy set off on his journey. He followed the map through the thick forest, over bubbling streams, and across rolling hills. As night fell, Sammy found shelter under a large fern and dreamt of the wonders that awaited him. The next morning, Sammy continued his journey. He encountered many challenges along the way. He had to outsmart a cunning fox, navigate a maze of thorny bushes, and cross a rickety old bridge over a deep ravine. But Sammy was brave and clever, and he overcame each obstacle with determination. Finally, after several days of travel, Sammy reached the edge of a vast, hidden valley. In the center of the valley stood the enchanted orchard. The orchard was even more beautiful than Sammy had imagined. The trees were tall and majestic, their branches heavy with glowing, magical fruits. Each fruit shimmered with a different color and emitted a soft, enchanting light. As Sammy ventured into the orchard, he noticed a wise old owl perched on one of the branches. The owl had golden eyes and spoke with a deep, soothing voice. "Welcome, brave little squirrel," the owl said. "I am Orion, the guardian of the enchanted orchard. What brings you to this magical place?" Sammy explained his journey and his desire to see the magical fruits. Orion listened intently and then smiled kindly. "You have shown great courage and determination to reach this place. The fruits of the enchanted orchard are indeed magical, each with its unique power. But remember, true magic lies in how you use these gifts to help others." Orion then guided Sammy to a tree with silver leaves and golden apples. "These are the apples of wisdom," he explained. "One bite will grant you great knowledge and understanding." Next, they visited a tree with glowing blue berries. "These are the berries of strength. Eating one will give you immense strength and courage." Finally, Orion led Sammy to a tree with bright, rainbow-colored fruits. "These are the fruits of healing. They can cure any ailment and bring comfort to those in pain." Sammy was in awe of the magical fruits, but he remembered Orion's words. He decided to take one of each fruit to share with his village, knowing they could help many. As Sammy prepared to leave, Orion gave him a small, golden acorn. "This acorn holds the essence of the enchanted orchard. Plant it in your village, and a part of this magic will always be with you." With the fruits and the golden acorn safely tucked away, Sammy began his journey back to the village. The way back seemed easier, as if the forest itself was helping him. When he finally arrived home, the villagers were amazed by his adventure and the magical fruits he had brought. Sammy shared the apples of wisdom with the village elders, who used their newfound knowledge to solve problems and improve life for everyone. The berries of strength were given to those who needed courage and resilience, and the fruits of healing were used to cure illnesses and heal the injured. The golden acorn was planted in the center of the village, and soon a magnificent tree grew, bearing magical fruits of its own. The village prospered, and the enchanted orchard's magic became a part of their daily lives. Sammy's bravery and kindness were celebrated, and he continued to explore and share his adventures with the village. He knew that the true magic of the enchanted orchard lay not just in the fruits, but in the way they were used to help and bring joy to others. And so, Sammy the brave little squirrel lived happily ever after, with a heart full of courage and a spirit always ready for the next adventure. The end. In a serene valley surrounded by towering mountains and blooming meadows, there was a village known for its vibrant flowers and joyful inhabitants. At the edge of this village, near a sparkling brook, stood a magnificent willow tree. This was no ordinary tree, it was called the Whispering Willow, famed for its ability to speak and offer guidance to those in need. The villagers often spoke of the Whispering Willow's wisdom and kindness, but only a few had ever heard its gentle voice. Among these villagers was a curious and brave girl named Lyra. Lyra had always been fascinated by the tales of the Whispering Willow and dreamed of discovering its secrets. One day, a shadow fell over the village. A terrible drought had struck, and the once lush meadows and vibrant gardens were now dry and withered. The brook that flowed beside the Whispering Willow had shrunk to a mere trickle, and the villagers were growing worried. Lyra decided to visit the Whispering Willow in hopes of finding a solution to the drought. She packed a small satchel with provisions and set off towards the tree, determined to seek its wisdom. As she approached the willow, she noticed its once green leaves had turned a pale, sickly color. The branches drooped sadly, and the brook beside it had become a dry bed of stones. Lyra felt a pang of concern for the ancient tree. Whispering Willow, she called gently, "Can you hear me?" To her surprise, a soft, rustling voice answered from the tree's branches. "Yes, dear Lyra. I hear you. I have been waiting for someone with a pure heart to come and seek my counsel." Lyra's heart lifted with hope. "The village is suffering from a terrible drought. We need your help. What can we do to bring back the rain and restore our land?" The Whispering Willow sighed, its branches swaying as if in thought. "To restore the balance, you must embark on a journey to find the three elements of renewal: the crystal spring, the golden leaf, and the moonflower. These elements, when brought together, will summon the rain and rejuvenate the land." Lyra listened carefully as the Whispering Willow explained where each element could be found. The crystal spring was hidden deep in the forest, the golden leaf was guarded by a wise old fox in the hills, and the moonflower bloomed only under the light of the full moon in a secluded glade. With a determined spirit, Lyra set out on her quest. Her first destination was the forest, where she navigated through the thick undergrowth and ancient trees. After a long search, she finally discovered the crystal spring, a shimmering pool of clear, sparkling water. The spring glowed with an otherworldly light, and Lyra carefully collected a vial of its water. Next, Lyra journeyed to the hills, where she encountered the wise old fox. The fox, with its golden fur and knowing eyes, was initially wary of Lyra. However, after hearing her heartfelt plea, the fox agreed to give her the golden leaf, which was a single, radiant leaf that glimmered with a golden hue. As night fell, Lyra made her way to the secluded glade where the moonflower was said to bloom. She waited patiently as the full moon rose high in the sky. Finally, the moonflower emerged, its petals glowing softly in the moonlight. Lyra gently plucked the flower, careful not to disturb its delicate beauty. With the three elements of renewal in her possession, Lyra returned to the Whispering Willow. The tree's branches seemed to stir with renewed energy as she presented the elements. The Whispering Willow's voice was filled with gratitude. "You have done well, Lyra. Now, place the elements in the brook and let their magic flow through the land." Lyra followed the instructions, carefully placing the crystal spring's water, the golden leaf, and the moonflower into the brook. As the elements mingled with the water, a vibrant glow spread through the brook, flowing out into the meadows and fields. The land responded to the magic. Clouds gathered in the sky, and gentle rain began to fall. The once dry meadows quickly revived, and the flowers and trees burst into color. The villagers rejoiced as their gardens and fields were restored to their former glory. Lyra was hailed as a hero, but she knew that it was the wisdom of the Whispering Willow and the magic of the elements of renewal that had saved the village. She continued to visit the Whispering Willow, and in time, the tree's leaves regained their lush, green hue. The legend of Lyra and the Whispering Willow became a cherished story in the village, reminding everyone of the power of courage, kindness, and the magic that resides in the heart of nature. And so, the Whispering Willow stood tall once more, its branches whispering tales of hope and renewal to all who listened. The Silver Fox and the moonlit lake. In a hidden valley surrounded by towering mountains and dense forests, there was a tranquil lake known as Moonlit Lake. Its waters were so clear that they mirrored the sky, and by night, the lake sparkled with the light of the moon, casting an ethereal glow over the land. In this valley lived a graceful silver fox named Leora. Unlike other foxes, Leora had a magical ability. She could communicate with the creatures of the forest and understand their needs. She used her gift to maintain harmony among the forest's inhabitants. The vanishing moonlight. One evening, as Leora wandered by the lake, she noticed that the moonlight seemed dimmer than usual. The once vibrant sparkle of the lake was fading, and the creatures of the forest were growing anxious. They gathered around Leora, expressing their concerns. A wise old owl named Orin spoke up. "Leora, something is wrong with the moonlight. It's as if it's being pulled away from us. The balance of our forest is at risk. Leora decided to investigate. She knew that the moonlight was crucial for maintaining the magic of Moonlit Lake and the well-being of the forest. With a determined heart, she set off on a journey to discover the cause of the fading light. The enchanted cave. Leora followed the path that led through the forest and up the mountains. As she climbed higher, she noticed that the light grew even dimmer. Eventually, she reached a hidden cave that glowed faintly with an otherworldly light. Inside the cave, Leora found a shimmering crystal, glowing with the same pale light as the moon. The crystal was embedded in a pedestal, but it was surrounded by a dark, swirling mist that seemed to be draining its light. As Leora approached, she felt a chill and saw a shadowy figure near the pedestal. The figure was a mischievous spirit named Nox, who thrived on darkness and sought to plunge the world into eternal night. Nox had been stealing the moonlight from Moonlit Lake to increase his own power. The battle of light and dark. Leora confronted Nox with courage. "You cannot take the moonlight from us. It is the lifeblood of our forest and the heart of Moonlit Lake." Nox sneered, "The darkness will rule, and there is nothing you can do to stop me." Determined to protect her home, Leora used her gift of communication to summon the animals of the forest. They gathered outside the cave, creating a powerful, united force. With their help, Leora began to counteract Nox's dark magic. The animals worked together to create a shield of light around the cave. Fireflies illuminated the area, and the song of nightingales created a harmonious melody that weakened Nox's power. Leora used her own magic to focus the energy of the moonlight, channeling it towards the crystal. As the battle raged, Leora felt the strength of the forest creatures and the warmth of the moonlight fueling her resolve. The crystal began to glow brighter, and the dark mist started to dissipate. Restoring the moonlight with a final, powerful surge of light, Leora and the forest animals overwhelmed Nox, banishing him from the cave. The crystal's light returned to its full brilliance, and the moonlight flowed back to Moonlit Lake, restoring its magical glow. The forest erupted in cheers as the creatures celebrated their victory. The moonlight danced on the lake's surface, more radiant than ever before. Leora felt a deep sense of satisfaction, knowing that the balance had been restored. The legacy of Leora. In gratitude, the creatures of the forest presented Leora with a beautiful, moonlit necklace made from the crystal's light. This necklace had the power to summon the moonlight in times of need, ensuring that the magic of Moonlit Lake would be protected forever. Leora wore the necklace with pride and continued her role as the guardian of the forest. Her bravery and the unity of the forest creatures were celebrated in stories and psalms, passed down through generations. Moonlit Lake remained a place of magic and wonder, a symbol of harmony between light and dark. And Leora, the silver fox with a heart full of courage, became a legendary figure whose tale inspired all who heard it. Once upon a time, in a kingdom called Luminera, there was a small village named Crestwood. This village was nestled between rolling hills and bordered by the vast, mysterious Whispering Sea. Crestwood was known for its harmony and prosperity, thanks to the magical golden feather that hung in the village square. It was said that the feather was a gift from the legendary phoenix, and it brought good fortune and abundant harvests to the village. One day, a terrible storm struck Crestwood. The winds howled and the sea raged, and when the storm finally passed, the villagers discovered that the golden feather was missing. The village was plunged into despair, and the crops began to wither. The village elders, desperate to restore their prosperity, called for a meeting to decide what to do. In Crestwood lived a young boy named Finn, known for his adventurous spirit and kind heart. Finn loved listening to the tales of the phoenix and dreamed of one day seeing the mythical bird. When he heard about the missing feather, he felt a deep sense of responsibility and volunteered to find it. The villagers were hesitant at first, worried for Finn's safety, but his determination and courage won them over. The village elders gave him a map, said to lead to the Enchanted Isle, where the phoenix resided. They also gave him a small, enchanted compass that would guide him through the treacherous sea. With the compass in hand and the map tucked safely in his satchel, Finn set off towards the Whispering Sea. As he reached the shore, he found an old, weathered boat waiting for him. Taking a deep breath, He pushed the boat into the water and began his journey. The sea was unpredictable and filled with hidden dangers. Finn faced fierce storms, swirling whirlpools, and creatures of the deep. But the enchanted compass always guided him through the perilous waters. After days of arduous travel, he finally saw a glimmering island in the distance, the Enchanted Isle. As Finn approached the island, he was greeted by an array of magical creatures, talking animals, shimmering fairies, and gentle giants. They welcomed him warmly and led him to the heart of the isle, where the legendary phoenix resided. The phoenix was a magnificent bird with feathers of gold and red, radiating warmth and light. It perched on a high, crystal cliff, overlooking the island. As Finn approached, the phoenix looked down at him with wise, curious eyes. "Brave child, why do you seek me?" the phoenix asked, its voice resonating like a beautiful melody. Finn explained the plight of his village and the missing golden feather. The phoenix listened intently, its eyes reflecting both sorrow and hope. "The feather was stolen by the shadow sorcerer," the phoenix said. "He seeks to drain its magic to spread darkness across the land. You must retrieve it from his lair in the Black Mountains, beyond this isle." The task seemed daunting, but Finn's resolve was unwavering. The phoenix, moved by his bravery, offered him one of its own feathers. "This feather will protect you from the sorcerer's dark magic and guide you to his lair. But remember, only a heart pure and true can wield its power." Thanking the phoenix, Finn set off towards the Black Mountains. The journey was perilous, and the path was fraught with traps and dark creatures summoned by the shadow sorcerer. Yet, with the phoenix's feather in hand, Finn pressed on, his heart filled with determination. As he reached the base of the Black Mountains, he encountered a young girl named Lyra, who had been imprisoned by the sorcerer. Lyra possessed knowledge of the mountains and offered to help Finn navigate the treacherous terrain. Grateful for her assistance, Finn agreed, and together they climbed the towering peaks. The closer they got to the sorcerer's lair, the stronger the dark magic became. Shadows danced and whispered, trying to lead them astray, but the phoenix's feather glowed brightly, repelling the darkness. Finally, they reached the sorcerer's lair, a dark, foreboding cave at the mountain's summit. Inside, they found the shadow sorcerer, a tall, menacing figure with eyes like burning coals. He held the golden feather, its light dimmed and flickering. "Foolish children," he hissed. "You think you can take this from me?" Finn stepped forward, his voice steady. "The feather belongs to my village. We will take it back." The sorcerer laughed, summoning dark magic to attack them. But as he did, Finn held up the phoenix's feather, and its radiant light clashed with the sorcerer's darkness. The cave filled with a brilliant light, and the sorcerer's power began to wane. Lyra, drawing strength from the light, joined Finn, and together they confronted the sorcerer. With a final, powerful surge, the phoenix's feather shattered the sorcerer's dark magic, and he was banished from the land. The golden feather floated gently into Finn's hands, its light restored. The sorcerer's lair began to crumble, but Finn and Lyra escaped just in time, returning to the Enchanted Isle. The phoenix greeted them with a joyful song, and the island rejoiced. With the feather safely in his possession, Finn sailed back to Crestwood, Lyra by his side. The village erupted in celebration upon their return. Finn placed the feather back in its rightful place, and its magic spread across the land, restoring the crops and bringing prosperity once more. Finn and Lyra were hailed as heroes, their bravery and friendship celebrated by all. The story of their quest spread far and wide, inspiring others to act with courage and kindness. And so, Crestwood lived happily ever after, forever grateful for the brave boy who brought back the golden feather and saved their village. The end.
In the enchanting kingdom of Lyria, where magical creatures roamed and the sky was a canvas of ever-changing colors, there was a tale of a mystical artifact known as the Silver Star. Legend spoke of a hidden valley where this star lay, capable of granting a single wish to anyone with a heart full of hope and courage. In a small village on the edge of the kingdom lived a young girl named Alara. She had a kind heart and a deep love for her people, who had been suffering from a terrible drought that had withered their lands. Driven by her desire to help, Alara decided to find the silver star and make a wish to restore her village. One morning, Alara discovered an old, dusty map hidden in her grandmother's attic. The map was adorned with ancient symbols and a cryptic riddle. It was said that the map could lead to the hidden valley, but only if one could solve the riddle. The riddle read, "In the land where shadows dance and sunlight weaves a golden thread, seek the path where the heart leads, where the quiet whispers are said." Determined, Alara set off on her journey, following the directions on the map. Her path took her through lush forests, across sparkling streams, and over rolling hills. The landscape seemed to change with every step she took, as though it was alive with magic. Alara soon entered the enchanted forest, a place where the trees were said to hold secrets and the air was thick with magic. As she walked, she came across a shimmering, golden pathway leading deeper into the woods. The path seemed to glow under the canopy of ancient trees. Suddenly, a gentle voice spoke from the shadows. It was a wise old fairy named Thistle. To proceed, you must first show your heart's true intention. Answer me this: what is the greatest gift one can give? Alara thought carefully and replied, "The greatest gift is to give love and kindness freely, without expecting anything in return." Thistle smiled and waved her hand, creating a magical bridge across a wide chasm. "You have answered wisely. Proceed, and may your heart guide you." Beyond the enchanted forest, Alara faced the Mountain of Echoes, where every sound was amplified and twisted. The mountain was steep and treacherous, with echoes that could confuse even the most determined traveler. As Alara climbed, she heard the echoes of her own doubts and fears. "You cannot do this," the echoes seemed to say. But Alara remembered her purpose and pushed onward, each step resonating with her courage and hope. At the mountain's peak, she found an ancient gate covered in vines. The gate had a keyhole shaped like a star, and beside it lay a small, silver key. The key glimmered with a familiar light. Alara used the key to unlock the gate, revealing a narrow, moonlit path leading downward. The path led Alara to a hidden valley, bathed in a soft, silvery glow. The valley was surrounded by towering cliffs, and at its center was a serene lake with water that sparkled like a sea of stars. In the lake's center, on a pedestal, lay the silver star, radiating a gentle, soothing light. Alara approached the silver star and felt its warmth. A voice echoed from the star, "To make your wish, you must first understand its true meaning." Alara took a deep breath and thought of her village, her people's struggles, and her own hopes for a better future. She whispered her wish, "I wish for rain to restore the land and for my village to be saved." As Alara spoke her wish, the silver star's light grew brighter, and a soft rain began to fall. The rain was gentle at first, but soon it became a steady downpour, nourishing the land and filling the streams. The valley seemed to come alive with lush greenery and vibrant flowers. Alara returned to her village, finding that the rain had reached them as well. The once dry fields were now lush and green. The rivers flowed with clear water, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers. The villagers rejoiced and celebrated Alara's bravery and selflessness. They marveled at the miraculous change and were grateful for the young girl who had ventured into the unknown to save them. The silver star remained in the hidden valley, a symbol of hope and the power of a pure heart. Alara's story became a cherished legend in Lyria, inspiring others to pursue their dreams and help those in need. The valley, now known as the Valley of Stars, was visited by many who sought to be inspired by its magic and the story of the girl who had wished for the good of others. And so, Alara's bravery and kindness lived on, reminding everyone that even the smallest wish, when driven by love and courage, could bring about the most wondrous change.
Once upon a time, in a land far away, there was a beautiful forest called the Enchanted Forest. The forest was filled with tall, ancient trees, sparkling streams, and colorful flowers. It was a place of magic, where animals could talk, and fairies lived among the trees. In this forest lived a little squirrel named Sammy. Sammy was small but very brave. He loved to explore the forest, climb the tallest trees, and find the best acorns. Sammy had many friends, including Benny the Bunny, Tina the Turtle, and Luna the Fairy. One sunny day, as Sammy was gathering acorns, he heard a soft cry coming from the bushes. He quickly scampered over and found a tiny bird named Chirpy, who had hurt its wing and couldn't fly. "Oh no, Chirpy." "What happened?" asked Sammy. "I was trying to fly high and see the whole forest, but I hurt my wing," Chirpy replied sadly. "Don't worry, Chirpy. I'll take you to Luna. She knows how to heal wings," said Sammy. Sammy gently picked up Chirpy and hurried to Luna's home, which was a beautiful flower house hidden in a big oak tree. Luna was a kind fairy with sparkling wings and a warm smile. "Luna, can you help Chirpy?" "He hurt his wing," Sammy asked. Luna looked at Chirpy's wing and smiled. "Of course, I can help. But we need a special healing flower that grows in the deepest part of the forest." Sammy's eyes widened. The deepest part of the forest was known to be mysterious and a little scary, but Sammy was determined to help his friend. "I'll go get the flower," said Sammy bravely. Luna gave Sammy a little map and a tiny pouch of fairy dust for protection. Sammy set off on his adventure, feeling a mix of excitement and a bit of fear. As Sammy ventured deeper into the forest, he saw many amazing sights. He crossed a sparkling blue stream, where he met a friendly frog who showed him the way. He walked through a meadow of colorful flowers, where butterflies danced around him. Finally, Sammy reached the deepest part of the forest. The trees were tall and dark, and it was very quiet. Sammy took a deep breath and followed the map. He soon found the special healing flower, glowing softly in the shade of a big tree. Just as Sammy picked the flower, a loud growl echoed through the forest. A big, shadowy figure emerged from the trees. It was a giant bear, looking very grumpy. "Who dares to take my flower?" the bear growled. Sammy was scared but stood tall. "I'm Sammy, and I need this flower to help my friend Chirpy." The bear looked at Sammy for a moment and then sighed. "I see. I used to be a kind bear, but I became grumpy because I was lonely. No one ever visited me here." Sammy felt sorry for the bear. "I'm sorry you're lonely. Maybe you can come back with me and meet my friends. We would love to have you." The bear's eyes softened. "You would do that for me?" "Of course," said Sammy. "Everyone deserves friends." The bear smiled and agreed to come with Sammy. Together, they walked back to Luna's house. Luna healed Chirpy's wing with the special flower, and Chirpy was soon flying happily again. Sammy introduced the bear to all his friends, and they welcomed him warmly. The bear, whose name was Bruno, became a beloved member of the forest community. He was no longer lonely and grumpy but happy and kind. From that day on, Sammy, Chirpy, Luna, and all their friends, including Bruno, lived happily in the enchanted forest. They went on many adventures together and always helped each other, knowing that true friendship was the greatest magic of all. And so, the enchanted forest remained a place of wonder and joy, where everyone, big or small, was welcome. The end. Once upon a time, in the quaint village of Bramblewood, there was a tradition that everyone looked forward to, the Lantern Festival. Every year, the villagers would light beautiful lanterns and release them into the night sky, believing that the lanterns carried their hopes and dreams up to the stars. This year, however, was different. The festival was marred by an unsettling cloud of darkness. The village had been plagued by a persistent fog that seemed to swallow the light of the lanterns, and the villagers' dreams had turned to worry. They whispered of an old legend about a magical lantern that could chase away darkness and restore hope. The legend spoke of an enchanted lantern hidden deep within the Forest of Whispers. It was said that this lantern had the power to grant one wish to anyone who could find it. Young Mira, a kind-hearted girl who loved the Lantern Festival, decided she would seek out the enchanted lantern to bring back light and joy to her village. The Forest of Whispers. One crisp morning, Mira set off towards the Forest of Whispers. The forest was known for its magical properties and its ability to communicate with those who ventured within. As Mira entered the forest, The trees seemed to lean in closer, their leaves rustling with whispers of encouragement. She followed a winding path that glowed faintly with an otherworldly light. Along the way, she met various creatures of the forest, each with their own challenges. First, she encountered a clever fox named Felix, who was guarding a bridge. To cross this bridge, Felix said, "You must answer my riddle. What has keys but can't open locks?" Mira thought for a moment and answered, "A piano." Felix nodded and allowed her to cross. "Good luck on your quest." The magical stream Mira continued her journey until she reached a sparkling stream. The water was clear, but it shimmered with a magical glow. A graceful water nymph named Niamh appeared and told her, "To pass through, you must show your sincerity. Only the pure of heart may step onto the stepping stones without disturbing the water." Mira carefully stepped onto the stones, making sure to tread lightly and respectfully. The nymph smiled and allowed her to proceed. "You are close to finding the lantern. Trust in your heart." The wise old tree. After crossing the stream, Mira arrived at a clearing where an enormous, ancient tree stood. Its branches stretched high, and it seemed to have a face carved into its bark. This was the wise old tree, known for its knowledge of the forest's secrets. The wise old tree spoke in a deep, rumbling voice, "To find the enchanted lantern, you must offer something precious to you." Mira thought about the village and her family. She reached into her satchel and took out a small locket given to her by her grandmother, a cherished family heirloom. She gently placed the locket at the base of the tree. The tree's branches swayed as if in approval. "You have shown true selflessness. Follow the path of moonlight, and you will find what you seek." The lantern's light Mira followed the path illuminated by a soft, silvery light. It led her to a hidden glade bathed in moonlight. In the center of the glade was an old, ornate lantern, glowing with a warm, inviting light. The enchanted lantern was even more beautiful than she had imagined, adorned with intricate patterns and shimmering with an inner glow. As Mira approached the lantern, it spoke, "I am the enchanted lantern. You have shown bravery, kindness, and selflessness. What is your wish?" Mira took a deep breath and wished, "I wish for my village to be free from darkness and for the Lantern Festival to bring joy and hope once more." The lantern's light grew brighter, and a gentle breeze carried Mira's wish back to her village. The fog that had blanketed Bramblewood began to lift, and the stars twinkled brightly above. Returned to Bramblewood with the lantern safely in her possession, Mira made her way back to Bramblewood. As she entered the village, the fog had completely vanished, and the villagers were filled with awe and joy at the sight of the clear night sky. Mira placed the enchanted lantern at the center of the village square, and its light spread out, filling the entire village with a warm, golden glow. The Lantern Festival resumed with renewed energy and happiness, and the villagers danced and celebrated under the stars. Mira's bravery and selflessness had restored the magic of the Lantern Festival. The village thrived with hope and joy, and the enchanted lantern became a cherished symbol of their resilience and unity. And so, the legend of the enchanted lantern lived on, reminding everyone that even in the darkest times, a kind heart and a brave spirit could bring light and hope. The end. The Princess and the Stonecutter. Once upon a time, in a kingdom nestled between towering mountains and flowing rivers, there was a kind and just king who ruled with wisdom and grace. The king had a beautiful daughter named Princess Isla, who was loved by all for her gentle heart and adventurous spirit. Despite her royal duties, Isla often slipped away from the castle to explore the forests, mountains, and villages of the kingdom. She loved nothing more than to learn about the lives of her people and to help them in any way she could. One day, while exploring a remote village at the foot of the mountains, Princess Isla came across a young stonecutter named Rowan. He was strong and skilled, known throughout the village for his ability to shape even the hardest stone into works of art. But despite his talent, Rowan was humble and lived a simple life, working from dawn until dusk to support his family. As Isla watched Rowan work, she noticed something peculiar. Every time Rowan struck his chisel against the stone, a small spark of light would flash, as if the stone itself were alive. Intrigued, Isla approached Rowan and asked him about his craft. Rowan looked up from his work and smiled. "These stones are special, Princess," he said. "They come from the heart of the mountain, where it is said that ancient magic still lingers. When I carve them, I can sometimes feel that magic flowing through my hands." Isla was fascinated. She had heard stories of the ancient magic in the mountains, but she had never seen it for herself. "What do you do with the stones once you've shaped them?" she asked. "I make many things," Rowan replied. "Statues, pillars, and sometimes even jewelry. But the most important thing I carve is the heartstone." "The heartstone?" Isla echoed, curious. "What is that?" Rowan stood up and wiped the sweat from his brow. "The heartstone is a tradition in our village. Every year, I carve a special stone in the shape of a heart and place it at the center of the village square. It is believed that as long as the heartstone remains whole, our village will be protected from harm." Isla was moved by the story. "May I see the heartstone?" she asked. Rowan nodded and led Isla to the village square. In the center of the square stood a large stone heart, polished to a gleaming finish. It radiated a soft, warm light, and Isla could feel the magic within it. The villagers had decorated the square with flowers and ribbons, and children played around the heartstone, laughing and singing. "It's beautiful," Isla said, her voice filled with awe. "You've done a wonderful thing for your village, Rowan." Rowan smiled modestly. "It's not just my work, Princess. The heartstone is a symbol of our unity and strength. As long as we stand together, the stone will remain strong." Isla spent the rest of the day in the village, getting to know the people and learning more about their traditions. She was so impressed by the stonecutter's skill and the villagers' sense of community that she decided to return to the castle and tell her father about what she had seen. That evening, as Isla dined with her father, she told him all about Rowan and the heartstone. The king listened intently, and when Isla had finished, he nodded thoughtfully. "It is clear that the young stonecutter has great talent," the king said. "But more importantly, he understands the value of unity and hard work. I would like to meet him." The next day, the king and Princess Isla traveled to the village to meet Rowan. The king was impressed by Rowan's humility and skill, and after hearing about the heartstone, he made a decision. "Rowan," the king said, "would like to commission you to create a heartstone for the entire kingdom. It will be placed in the grand square of the capital, where it will symbolize the unity and strength of all our people." Rowan was honored by the request but also overwhelmed. "Your Majesty, it would be a great honor, but the magic in the stones from our village is special. I'm not sure if it will work in the capital." The king smiled kindly. "I believe the magic lies not just in the stone, but in the hands and heart of the one who shapes it. You have the talent, and with your skill, I have no doubt that you can create a heartstone worthy of the entire kingdom." Encouraged by the king's words, Rowan agreed to take on the task. He worked tirelessly for weeks, selecting the finest stones from the mountains and carefully carving them into the shape of a heart. As he worked, he could feel the magic flowing through his hands, just as it had before, but this time it was even stronger. It was as if the hopes and dreams of the entire kingdom were being infused into the stone. When the heartstone was finally complete, it was even more magnificent than the one in the village. It shone with a bright, pure light, and when Rowan touched it, he felt a deep sense of peace and fulfillment. The king and Princess Isla were overjoyed and they saw the finished heartstone. It was placed in the grand square of the capital, where people from all corners of the kingdom came to see it. The heartstone became a symbol of the kingdom's unity, and it was said that as long as it remained whole, the kingdom would be safe from any harm. Rowan was hailed as a hero, but he remained humble, always reminding people that the true magic came from their unity and strength. Princess Isla and Rowan became close friends, and she often visited him in his village to see how he was doing and to learn more about his craft. As the years passed, the kingdom prospered, and the heartstone remained a shining symbol of peace and unity. And though the people celebrated Rowan for his great work, he always insisted that it was the love and support of his fellow villagers, and the encouragement of a kind princess, that had made the magic possible. And so, the kingdom lived on in peace and harmony, protected by the magic of the heartstone and the unity of its people. And they all lived happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed this fairy tale. Once upon a time, in a peaceful village nestled between rolling hills and sparkling streams, there was an orchard unlike any other. This orchard was known as the Enchanted Orchard, a place where trees whispered secrets to one another and fruits shone with magical light. In the heart of this magical orchard lived a young girl named Lila. Lila was known throughout the village for her kind heart and adventurous spirit. She spent her days exploring the orchard, talking to the trees, and picking the shimmering fruits. The villagers believed the orchard was blessed by a fairy queen who had once visited, leaving behind a touch of magic. One crisp autumn morning, as Lila wandered among the apple trees, she noticed something unusual. A small, silver key lay glistening among the fallen leaves. Curious, Lila picked it up, feeling a strange warmth in her hand. She wondered what it could unlock and decided to seek the wisdom of the oldest tree in the orchard, Grand Oak. Grand Oak was a massive, ancient tree with branches that reached the skies. His bark was thick and gnarled, and his leaves rustled softly in the breeze. Lila approached him and gently placed the key at his roots. "Grand Oak," she said, "I found this key today. Do you know what it unlocks?" Grand Oak's leaves trembled as he spoke in a deep, rumbling voice. "Ah, young Lila, that key is no ordinary key. It opens the gate to the hidden realm of the orchard. But beware, for the path is full of trials, and the enchantments are powerful. Only those with a true heart can succeed." Lila's eyes sparkled with excitement and determination. "I will find out what lies beyond the gate," she declared. Following Grand Oak's directions, Lila soon discovered an old, vine-covered gate at the edge of the orchard. With a deep breath, she inserted the silver key into the lock and turned it. The gate creaked open, revealing a path that led into a dense, misty forest. As she walked along the path, the mist began to lift, revealing a beautiful and strange land. The trees here were even more magical, with fruits that changed colors and flowers that sang gentle melodies. The air was filled with a sweet, enchanting fragrance, and Lila felt as though she had stepped into a dream. Suddenly, a small, glowing creature fluttered into her path. It was a fairy with delicate wings that shimmered like a rainbow. "Welcome, Lila," the fairy said in a tinkling voice. "I am Iris, guardian of this realm. To continue, you must solve 3 riddles. Each riddle will bring you closer to the heart of our magic." Lila nodded eagerly. "I'm ready." The first riddle was, "I have cities but no houses, forests but no trees, mountains but no rocks, and water but no fish. What am I?" Lila thought for a moment and then answered, "A map." Iris smiled and led her to the second riddle, "I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I?" Lila pondered and then said, "An echo." Iris's eyes twinkled with approval as she presented the final riddle, "I am not alive. But I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?" Lila thought hard, and then, with a smile, answered, "A fire." Iris clapped her hands with delight. "You have answered all 3 riddles correctly. You have proven yourself worthy. Follow me." Iris guided Lila to a magnificent clearing where a grand, ancient tree stood in the center. Its trunk was covered in glowing runes, and its branches were adorned with sparkling crystals. The tree's heart glowed with a warm, inviting light. "This is the heart tree," Iris explained. "It holds the magic that keeps our realm alive. Because you have shown bravery and wisdom, we wish to share this magic with you." The heart tree's light enveloped Lila, filling her with a sense of peace and joy. She felt a deep connection to the magical world around her. "Thank you," she said. Iris smiled. "Remember, Lila, the magic of this realm is always with you, as long as you keep your heart true and your spirit adventurous." With that, Lila returned to the village, carrying with her a newfound sense of wonder and a deeper appreciation for the magic in her world. The villagers noticed the change in her and marveled at the new tales she had to tell. And so, the Enchanted Orchard continued to thrive, its magic now known and cherished even more by those who walked among its trees. Lila's adventures became legendary, and her heart remained forever touched by the wonders of the hidden realm. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a quaint kingdom nestled between rolling hills and sparkling rivers, there was a beautiful forest known as Everwood. Everwood was no ordinary forest. It was home to magical creatures and plants that glowed with an ethereal light. The most precious treasure of Everwood was a brilliant star that hung above the forest like a luminous guardian, keeping the forest safe and vibrant. One day, as the forest creatures prepared for the annual Moonlight Festival, a dark cloud swept over Everwood. The star, which had always shone brightly, began to dim. Panic spread among the animals as they realized that the star was missing from its place in the sky. The wise old owl, Ali, called an emergency meeting. "We must find the star and bring it back before the Moonlight Festival begins," Ali hooted. "Otherwise, Everwood will lose its magic and fall into darkness." Among the forest's inhabitants was a brave young fox named Fern. Though small, Fern was known for her cleverness and unyielding courage. She stepped forward and volunteered to find the missing star. Ali gave her a shimmering map that showed the forest's hidden paths and landmarks. Fern set off on her quest, guided by the map and the whispers of the forest. Her first stop was the enchanted stream, a place where the water sparkled like diamonds. There, she met a wise old turtle named Tiberius. "The star is in grave danger," Tiberius said with a slow, deliberate voice. "It was stolen by the Shadow Sorcerer, a dark figure who resides in the Cursed Cavern. You must seek his help to find the star." Fern thanked Tiberius and continued her journey, heading toward the Cursed Cavern. The cavern was known for its twisting tunnels and eerie shadows. As Fern approached, she saw the entrance covered in thick, black vines. Summoning her courage, she pushed through and entered the cavern. Inside, the cavern was filled with echoes and shadows. Fern carefully made her way through the dark tunnels until she reached a large chamber. In the center of the chamber sat the Shadow Sorcerer, a mysterious figure cloaked in darkness. The sorcerer held the star, which had lost its brilliance and now glowed dimly. "Why have you taken the star?" Fern asked, trying to sound brave. The Shadow Sorcerer looked at Fern with tired eyes. "I did not want to steal it. The star's light was fading because of the darkness that has settled in my heart. I wanted to hold it close to see if I could restore its light." Fern felt sympathy for the sorcerer. "But the star belongs to Everwood. It keeps the forest alive. Without it, the forest will lose its magic." The sorcerer sighed. "I understand now. I will return the star, but only if you can help me with one thing. I need to find a way to heal the darkness in my heart." Fern thought for a moment and then said, "There is a special flower in the heart of Everwood called the Moonlight Blossom. It has the power to heal and restore. If we find it, we might be able to help you." Together, Fern and the Shadow Sorcerer journeyed back to Everwood. With the sorcerer's help, they navigated through the forest and found the Moonlight Blossom glowing softly under the light of the full moon. The sorcerer held the blossom close, and its gentle light began to fill him with warmth and peace. As the darkness in his heart faded, the star's light grew brighter and more vibrant. Fern took the star and placed it back in the sky, where it shone even more brightly than before. With the star restored, Everwood was once again bathed in its magical glow. The forest celebrated the Moonlight Festival with great joy, and the Shadow Sorcerer, now transformed by the light of the Moonlight Blossom, was welcomed as a friend. Fern was hailed as a hero, and the forest creatures were grateful for her bravery and kindness. The sorcerer promised to protect Everwood and to use his powers for good from that day forward. And so, Everwood continued to thrive, glowing with the star's light and the magic of friendship. Fern's courage had not only saved the forest but had also brought a lost soul back into the light. Once upon a time, in a land where the trees whispered secrets and the rivers danced with moonlight, there was a small village named Eldergrove. This village was known for its lush forests, where every tree had a story and every creature had a psalm. But most enchanting of all was the Whispering Forest, a magical woodland that no one had dared to enter for centuries. The Whispering Forest was said to be home to ancient magic and guarded by a wise and mysterious guardian named Eldin. Eldin was a gentle spirit who only revealed himself to those with pure hearts and brave spirits. The villagers had always lived in harmony with the forest, but they had never ventured into its depths, respecting the old tales that spoke of its magic and mystery. In the village of Eldergrove lived a curious and kind-hearted girl named Lyra. Lyra was known for her love of nature and her desire to help others. She had heard countless stories about the Whispering Forest and had always dreamed of exploring it. The forest had always fascinated her, especially because her grandmother had once told her about a hidden treasure within it that could heal any illness. One day, Lyra's grandmother fell ill with a mysterious ailment that no doctor could cure. Desperate to help her, Lyra remembered the old stories and decided that she must find the hidden treasure in the Whispering Forest to save her grandmother. With a heart full of hope and determination, Lyra prepared for her journey. She packed a small bag with essentials, a map, some food, and a special locket her grandmother had given her. The locket was said to hold the power of protection and was enchanted with a touch of the forest's magic. As the sun set and the moon rose high, casting a silvery glow over the land, Lyra ventured towards the edge of the Whispering Forest. The trees seemed to hum softly as she approached, their leaves rustling in a gentle breeze. She took a deep breath and stepped into the forest, guided by the soft, ethereal light. The forest was unlike anything Lyra had ever seen. The trees were tall and ancient, their branches stretching out like welcoming arms. The ground was carpeted with moss that glowed faintly, and the air was filled with the sweet fragrance of wildflowers. Every now and then, Lyra would hear a soft whisper or a faint melody, as if the forest itself was speaking to her. As Lyra walked deeper into the forest, she came across a clearing with a crystal-clear pond at its center. The pond sparkled with a magical light, and a delicate bridge made of vines and flowers arched over it. Standing at the edge of the pond was Eldin, the guardian of the forest. He was a tall figure with a flowing robe of leaves and a crown of blossoms, his eyes shining with wisdom and kindness. Eldin smiled warmly at Lyra. "Welcome, brave traveler. I have been waiting for you. The forest has sensed your pure heart and your noble quest." Lyra was both amazed and nervous. "I seek the hidden treasure of the Whispering Forest. My grandmother is ill, and I believe that this treasure can heal her." Eldin nodded solemnly. "The treasure you seek is indeed powerful, but it is not easily found. The forest will only reveal it to those who prove themselves worthy through acts of kindness and bravery." Lyra listened intently as Eldin continued, "You must complete 3 tasks. Each task will test your heart and your spirit. Only then will the forest guide you to the treasure." With determination in her eyes, Lyra agreed to the tasks. Eldin led her to the first challenge, a grove where magical creatures were trapped in enchanted vines. They had been imprisoned by a dark spell that had spread through the forest. Lyra saw that the vines were thick and tangled, but she did not hesitate. She worked tirelessly, carefully unraveling the vines and freeing the creatures. The animals, including fairies and small woodland creatures, chirped and fluttered with joy as they were set free. Lyra felt a deep sense of satisfaction knowing she had helped them. For the second task, Eldin took Lyra to a hill where a giant tree had fallen, blocking the path for many travelers. The tree was enormous, and Lyra knew it would be a great challenge to move it. With Eldin's guidance, she used all her strength and creativity, using ropes and branches to slowly and carefully clear the path. As Lyra worked, she felt the support of the forest. The animals and fairies she had helped earlier came to lend a hand, and together they managed to move the tree. The path was cleared, and travelers would once again be able to pass through. The final task was the most challenging. Eldin led Lyra to a dark part of the forest where the magic had begun to fade. The plants were wilting, and the air was heavy with sadness. Lyra needed to restore the magic by planting enchanted seeds that would bring the forest back to life. Lyra worked with dedication, planting the seeds and watering them with the enchanted water from the pond. As she did so, she sang a soothing song that she remembered from her grandmother's tales. the magic began to return, and the forest started to bloom with vibrant colors once again. Having completed the 3 tasks, Lyra returned to Eldon. The guardian was pleased and led her to a hidden glade where a beautiful chest lay covered in vines. Eldon gently opened the chest, revealing a glowing crystal vial filled with a shimmering liquid. "This is the treasure you seek," Eldon said. "It has the power to heal and restore. Use it with love and it will bring healing to your grandmother." Lyra thanked Eldon and the forest with all her heart. She took the vial and made her way back to Eldergrove. With the vial in hand, she hurried home and administered the healing liquid to her grandmother. As the liquid touched her lips, her grandmother's color returned, and she awoke with a smile. The village celebrated Lyra's bravery and kindness, and the Whispering Forest continued to thrive, its magic renewed by the love and courage of a young girl. The forest remained a place of wonder and enchantment, a testament to the power of pure hearts and selfless deeds. From then on, the villagers spoke of Lyra's adventure as a cherished tale, reminding everyone that the greatest magic of all is found in the strength of kindness and the power of the heart. The end. Once upon a time, in a distant kingdom surrounded by tall, misty mountains and lush green valleys, there was a serene village called Crystalbrook. The village was named after a beautiful lake with crystal-clear waters that shimmered like diamonds under the sunlight. It was said that the lake possessed magical powers, bestowing peace and prosperity upon the village. In Crystalbrook, there lived a young girl named Alina. Alina was known for her compassionate heart and her love for nature. She spent most of her days by the lake, talking to the animals and tending to the vibrant flowers that grew along its shores. She often heard whispers of a legend about a hidden treasure at the bottom of the lake, which could only be found by someone with a pure heart. One summer evening, as Alina was walking by the lake, she noticed the water glowing with an unusual light. Curiosity sparked within her, and she stepped closer to the edge. Suddenly, a graceful swan emerged from the water. Its feathers glistened like silver, and its eyes sparkled with wisdom. Alina, the swan, spoke softly, "I am Selene, the guardian of the Crystal Lake. A great darkness is approaching our land, and only the treasure hidden within the lake can save us. You have been chosen to retrieve it, for your heart is pure and full of kindness." Alina felt a mixture of fear and determination. "How will I find it?" she asked. Selene extended one of her silver feathers to Alina. "Take this feather," she said. "It will guide you to the treasure and protect you from harm. Remember, only true courage and selflessness will reveal the path." With the feather in hand, Alina waded into the lake. As she moved deeper, the water parted before her, creating a pathway. She followed it to the center of the lake, where she found a hidden cave illuminated by a soft, golden glow. Inside the cave, she discovered an ancient chest adorned with intricate carvings. Alina opened the chest, revealing a beautiful, radiant crystal. As she touched it, the crystal emitted a warm, comforting light. Selene appeared beside her, smiling. "You have found the heart of the lake," Selene said. "This crystal holds the power to banish darkness and restore balance to our land. You must take it to the top of Mount Lumina, where its light can shine upon the entire kingdom." Alina knew the journey would be perilous, but she was determined to save her village. She climbed out of the lake, crystal in hand, and began her ascent to Mount Lumina. Along the way, she encountered many challenges. She crossed treacherous ravines, navigated dense forests, and braved harsh winds. As she climbed higher, she met a wounded deer trapped in a thorny thicket. Despite her urgency, Alina couldn't ignore the deer's plight. She carefully freed it, using Selene's feather to heal its wounds. The deer, grateful for her kindness, accompanied her on her journey. Near the summit, a fierce storm threatened to halt her progress. The winds howled, and the skies darkened. But Alina held the crystal close, its light guiding her through the tempest. With every step, the storm seemed to weaken, until finally, she reached the peak. At the top of Mount Lumina, Alina placed the crystal on an ancient pedestal. The crystal's light grew brighter and brighter, piercing through the clouds and casting a radiant glow across the land. the storm dissipated, and the darkness retreated, replaced by a warm, golden light that brought life and prosperity back to the kingdom. Selene appeared once more, her eyes filled with gratitude. "You have done it, Alina. Your bravery and selflessness have saved us all. The heart of the lake will continue to shine, protecting our land for generations to come." Alina returned to Crystalbrook as a hero. The villagers celebrated her courage and kindness, and the story of her journey spread throughout the kingdom. The heart of the lake continued to glow, a symbol of hope and unity. And so, Alina lived a life full of joy and adventure, always remembered as the girl who saved her kingdom with the power of her pure heart. And they all lived happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed this fairy tale. Once upon a time, in a quaint little village nestled in a green valley, there lived a tiny mouse named Milo. Milo was known throughout the village for his curiosity and adventurous spirit. While other mice scurried around collecting crumbs and hiding from danger, Milo dreamed of exploring the world beyond the village. One sunny morning, as Milo was wandering near the edge of the forest, he overheard a group of villagers talking about a dragon that lived in a mountain cave. The dragon, they said, guarded a treasure of unimaginable wealth. The villagers were too afraid to approach the mountain, fearing the dragon's fiery breath. Milo's eyes sparkled with excitement. A dragon and a treasure? What an adventure that would be, he thought. Despite his small size, Milo was determined to find the dragon's cave and see the treasure for himself. The next day, Milo set out on his journey. He packed a small satchel with bits of cheese, bread, and a tiny lantern. As he ventured into the forest, the trees towered above him, and the path was filled with shadows. But Milo was not afraid. He followed the stories he had heard, keeping his ears alert for any sign of danger. After several days of traveling, Milo reached the foot of the mountain. The path up the mountain was steep and treacherous, but Milo climbed with determination. He used his sharp claws to grip the rocky surface and his keen senses to navigate the narrow ledges. Finally, after a long and tiring climb, Milo reached the entrance of the dragon's cave. The cave was vast and dark, with a faint glow emanating from deep within. Milo lit his tiny lantern and cautiously entered the cave. As he ventured deeper, Milo saw piles of gold coins, sparkling jewels, and precious artifacts. But at the center of it all, lying on a bed of gold, was the dragon. The dragon was enormous, with shimmering green scales and eyes that glowed like embers. Milo's heart pounded in his chest, but he took a deep breath and stepped forward. "Excuse me, mighty dragon," he squeaked, "I am Milo, a humble mouse from the village. I have come to see the legendary treasure you guard." The dragon opened one eye and looked at Milo with curiosity. "A brave little mouse, indeed," the dragon rumbled. "Most creatures flee at the sight of me. What do you seek, Milo?" Milo stood tall, despite his small size. "I seek adventure and knowledge. I want to see the world and understand its wonders. Your treasure is part of that wonder." The dragon chuckled, a sound like distant thunder. "You are brave and honest, little mouse. I admire your courage. But tell me, what would you do with my treasure if you could take it?" Milo thought for a moment. "I would share it with my village. We have many who are poor and hungry. Your treasure could bring them comfort and happiness." The dragon nodded thoughtfully. "Very well, Milo. You may take a single item from my treasure, but choose wisely. Sometimes, the smallest treasures hold the greatest value." Milo scanned the piles of gold and jewels, his eyes finally resting on a small, intricately carved wooden box. It was plain compared to the glittering treasures, but something about it drew him in. He picked up the box and opened it, revealing a shimmering crystal inside. "This crystal is beautiful," Milo said, holding it up. "I choose this." The dragon smiled. "An excellent choice. That crystal holds the power to grant a single wish. Use it wisely, Milo." With the crystal in his satchel, Milo thanked the dragon and began his journey back to the village. The climb down the mountain was just as challenging, but Milo's heart was light with excitement. When he finally returned to the village, the villagers gathered around, eager to hear about his adventure. Milo showed them the crystal and explained its power. The villagers were amazed and asked Milo what he would wish for. Milo held the crystal close and made his wish. "I wish for our village to prosper, for no one to go hungry, and for everyone to live in peace and happiness." The crystal glowed brightly and then disappeared in a burst of light. Suddenly, the village seemed to transform. Fields flourished with abundant crops, houses repaired themselves, and the air was filled with joy and laughter. The villagers cheered and celebrated, grateful for Milo's bravery and wisdom. From that day on, the village thrived, and Milo was hailed as a hero. He continued to explore and have adventures, but he always remembered the lesson of the dragon's treasure, that the greatest wealth lies in helping others and sharing happiness. And so, Milo the brave little mouse lived a life full of adventure, kindness, and joy, knowing that even the smallest creatures can make the biggest difference. The end.
In a small village nestled at the edge of an ancient forest, there was a tale told to children every night. The tale was about the moonlit forest, a magical place that only appeared under the full moon. The villagers believed that the forest held a hidden treasure, a crystal known as the Moonstone, which could grant a single wish to anyone who found it. Young Eleanor, a curious and brave girl, had always been fascinated by this tale. One clear, full moon night, as the villagers gathered around the fire, Eleanor decided it was time to discover the truth for herself. She packed a small bag with essentials, kissed her mother goodbye, and ventured into the moonlit forest. Entering the moonlit forest, as Eleanor stepped into the forest, the moonlight seemed to weave through the trees, creating a silver pathway on the ground. The forest was alive with gentle whispers and soft, glowing lights. Eleanor followed the moonlit path, her heart racing with excitement and wonder. Soon, she encountered a talking owl perched on a low branch.
The owl had eyes like gleaming amber and a wise demeanor. "Welcome to the moonlit forest," he hooted. "I am Ollivander, the guardian of the forest's secrets. To find the Moonstone, you must first prove your worth through 3 trials." The first trial, the riddle of the stars. Ollivander presented Eleanor with a riddle. "I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?" Eleanor thought carefully. The answer was fire. Ollivander nodded approvingly and allowed her to proceed to the next trial. "Well done. Your journey has only just begun." The second trial, the River of Reflections. Eleanor came to a shimmering river with waters as clear as crystal. The river was known for reflecting one's deepest fears and desires. As she prepared to cross, the reflection showed her a vision of her village in peril. She saw smoke rising and heard the cries of her family. Fearful but determined, Eleanor focused on her mission and crossed the river, ignoring the haunting visions. On the other side, a gentle sprite appeared. "You have shown great courage and strength. The final trial awaits." The third trial, the Bridge of Trust. Eleanor reached a rickety wooden bridge that spanned a deep chasm. The bridge was swaying, and it seemed dangerous to cross. A voice from the shadows spoke, "To cross this bridge, you must trust in your heart and take the first step without knowing what lies ahead." Eleanor took a deep breath and stepped onto the bridge. As she moved, the bridge steadied under her feet, glowing softly with each step. She realized that her trust and bravery were guiding her safely across. Finding the Moonstone at the end of the bridge, Eleanor entered a moonlit glade where the Moonstone was said to be hidden. The glade was bathed in a soft, ethereal light, and at its center stood a pedestal with a glowing crystal. The Moonstone was even more beautiful than she had imagined, radiating a soft, calming light. Eleanor approached the Moonstone and carefully lifted it from the pedestal. A voice echoed through the glade, "You have completed the trials and proven your worth. What is your wish?" Eleanor thought about her village and the people she loved. Her heart ached with the desire to help them. "I wish for the safety and happiness of my village and for the forest to always remain magical." As she spoke, the Moonstone's light grew brighter, and a gentle breeze carried her wish throughout the forest. the moonstone returned to its pedestal, and the glade was filled with a warm, golden light. Returning home with her wish granted, Eleanor made her way back to her village. As she emerged from the forest, she saw that everything was as it should be, her village was safe, and the people were celebrating under the moonlight. Her family greeted her with relief and joy. Eleanor shared her adventure with the villagers, and they marveled at the magic of the moonlit forest. From that night on, the villagers celebrated the full moon with a festival, honoring the moonstone and the bravery of those who sought its magic. Eleanor became known as a hero in her village, not just for finding the moonstone but for her selflessness and courage. The moonlit forest continued to appear under the full moon, a symbol of magic and wonder, and Eleanor's story was told for generations, inspiring others to be brave and kind-hearted. The end. Once upon a time, in the lush and lively kingdom of Eldergrove, there was a magical place known as the Glade of Echoes. This glade was renowned for its ancient trees that sang with the wind and the Lantern of Legends, a mystical lantern said to grant one wish to those who approached it with a brave heart and a pure soul. The Lantern of Legends was hidden deep within the glade and could only be found on the night of the Moon Festival, when the sky was filled with shimmering moonbeams. In the charming village of Willowbend, nestled at the edge of the forest, lived a spirited and kind-hearted girl named Mira. Mira was known for her bravery and her love of stories. Her dearest friend was a clever and kind-hearted squirrel named Nutmeg, who was known for her quick thinking and her ability to find hidden paths. One evening, as the Moon Festival began, Mira and Nutmeg discovered an old, intricately carved wooden box buried beneath a bed of wildflowers. Inside the box was a beautifully engraved lantern and a note that read, "The Glade of Echoes awaits. Follow the lantern on the Moon Festival night to unlock its magic." Filled with excitement and a sense of purpose, Mira and Nutmeg set out on their journey. The path to the Glade of Echoes was bathed in the soft, silver light of the moon and the gentle glow of fireflies. As they entered the glade, they were greeted by the mesmerizing beauty of the moonlit trees and the soothing sounds of the singing wind. However, the path to the Lantern of Legends was guarded by 3 enchanting challenges. The first challenge was the Forest of Whispers. This was a dense, shadowy forest where the trees whispered riddles that needed to be solved to find the way forward. A soft, echoing voice from the trees posed a riddle. "I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I?" Mira thought carefully and then answered, "A joke." The trees rustled with approval, and the path through the Forest of Whispers cleared, leading them to the next challenge. The second challenge was the River of Reflections. This river was filled with shimmering, moonlit water that mirrored their deepest fears and desires. To cross the river, they needed to face their reflections and speak their true intentions. Mira and Nutmeg stepped cautiously to the river's edge. Mira saw her greatest desire, to bring happiness and prosperity to her village, reflected back at her. She spoke with conviction, "I wish for the well-being and joy of everyone in Willowbend, so that we may all thrive together." The river's surface glowed brightly, and a bridge of moonlight appeared, allowing them to cross safely. The final challenge was the Maze of Echoes. In this maze, the walls were lined with echoing whispers that shifted and changed direction. To find their way out, they needed to listen carefully and follow the correct echoes. Nutmeg's sharp ears helped guide them through the maze, and Mira used the lantern to illuminate their path. They carefully followed the echoes until they emerged into a moonlit clearing where the Lantern of Legends awaited. At the center of the clearing stood the Lantern of Legends, its light shimmering with a magical glow. To make their wish, Mira needed to speak her wish aloud with sincerity. Mira approached the lantern and spoke from her heart, "I wish for the happiness and prosperity of everyone in Willowbend, so that we may all live in harmony and joy." As Mira's wish was spoken, the lantern's light expanded, and a soft, golden glow spread throughout the glade and beyond. The magic of the lantern touched every corner of Eldergrove, bringing joy and prosperity to all who lived there. When Mira and Nutmeg returned to Willowbend, they found their village transformed. The fields were lush with crops, the animals were healthy and happy, and the people were filled with a deep sense of contentment and harmony. The tale of Mira and Nutmeg's adventure in the magic of the Lantern of Legends became a cherished story in Eldergrove, reminding everyone of the importance of courage, kindness, and the power of selfless wishes. And so, the Glade of Echoes continued to be a place of wonder and magic, where dreams and wishes came to life under the light of the Moon Festival. The end. Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled between misty mountains and a sparkling river, there lived a kind old woman named Agnes. Agnes was known throughout the village for her warm heart and her collection of beautiful lanterns. Each lantern was unique, with intricate designs that seemed to come alive when lit. One evening, as the village prepared for the annual Festival of Lights, Agnes discovered that her most treasured lantern, a delicate creation adorned with shimmering jewels and golden filigree, was missing. This lantern was said to hold a magical glow that could reveal hidden truths and bring hope to those in despair. Desperate to find her lantern before the festival, Agnes asked her neighbor, a curious young girl named Lily, for help. Lily was always eager for an adventure, and she agreed to assist Agnes in the search. The two of them set out into the forest, where Agnes had last seen the lantern. The forest was filled with the sounds of chirping crickets and rustling leaves. As they ventured deeper, they came across a wise old owl perched on a gnarled branch. "Have you seen a lantern with a magical glow?" Lily asked the owl. The owl hooted thoughtfully. "To find what you seek, you must first follow the path of the moonlight and solve the riddle of the forest." The owl presented them with a riddle. "I have cities but no houses, forests but no trees, and rivers but no water. What am I?" Lily thought for a moment and answered, "A map." The owl nodded and directed them to a hidden glade where the moonlight cast a soft, silver glow. In the center of the glade stood an ancient stone pedestal with a second riddle inscribed upon it. The riddle read, "The more you take, the more you leave behind. What am I?" Agnes and Lily pondered the riddle, and Lily finally guessed, "Footsteps." The pedestal shifted, revealing a narrow path that led them to a magical clearing bathed in moonlight. There, they discovered a small, sparkling stream with water that seemed to twinkle like stardust. On a rock beside the stream sat the missing lantern, glowing with an ethereal light. However, as they approached, a mischievous forest sprite appeared. "That lantern is mine now," the sprite declared, clutching the lantern tightly. "I found it and wanted to keep it for myself." Lily stepped forward bravely. "We only seek to return it to its rightful owner, so it can bring light and joy to others." The sprite looked at Lily with a curious expression. "Prove that you truly deserve this lantern by showing me the light in your heart." Lily, with her pure and genuine spirit, began to speak about her love for her village and her desire to help others. Her words were filled with warmth and sincerity, and the sprite could feel the truth in her heart. "You have shown great kindness and selflessness," the sprite said, handing the lantern back to Lily. "May this lantern guide you and bring light to those in need." With the lantern safely in hand, Agnes and Lily made their way back to the village just in time for the Festival of Lights. As the lantern was lit and placed at the center of the village square, its magical glow filled the night sky with a brilliant, soothing light. The villagers gathered around, awed by the lantern's beauty and the sense of hope it brought. The festival was a great success, and the villagers celebrated not only the return of the magical lantern but also the bravery and kindness of Lily and Agnes. The story of their adventure became a cherished tale in the village, a reminder of the power of light, kindness, and the courage to seek what is right. And so, the village of the Festival of Lights continued to shine brightly, thanks to the enchanted lantern and the heartwarming tale of a young girl and her kind friend. Once upon a time, in a kingdom where the mountains touched the sky and the rivers sang lullabies, there lived a young prince named Orion. Orion was brave and kind, beloved by his people. But beyond the kingdom lay the Whispering Woods, a mystical forest filled with secrets and legends. It was said that deep within these woods, there was a hidden grove where the moonlight flower bloomed once every 100 years. This flower had the power to grant one true wish to whoever found it. As fate would have it, the kingdom fell under a terrible curse. The crops withered, the rivers dried up, and an unending darkness loomed over the land. The people grew desperate and turned to Prince Orion for salvation. Remembering the tales of the moonlight flower, Orion vowed to find it and save his kingdom. With a heart full of determination, Orion set out for the Whispering Woods. As he entered the forest, the trees seemed to whisper secrets and warnings, but he pressed on. The path was treacherous, and soon he encountered his first challenge, a raging river with no bridge or ford. Desperate, Orion called out for help. To his surprise, a graceful deer appeared. "Why do you seek to cross this river, brave prince?" the deer asked. "I seek the moonlight flower to save my kingdom from a terrible curse," Orion replied. The deer, seeing the sincerity in his eyes, offered to help. "Follow me," it said, leading Orion to a hidden path of stepping stones. Grateful, Orion crossed the river safely and continued his journey. Deeper into the woods, Orion came upon a glade where a fierce griffin was trapped in a net. The creature thrashed and roared, its golden feathers glinting in the dim light. Without hesitation, Orion approached and cut the net, freeing the griffin. "Why did you free me, human?" the griffin asked, its voice a blend of curiosity and gratitude. "Because no creature deserves to be trapped," Orion replied. "I seek the moonlight flower to lift a curse from my kingdom." The griffin, impressed by Orion's bravery and kindness, offered its assistance. "Climb on my back. I will take you to the heart of the Whispering Woods." With the griffin's help, Orion flew over the forest, marveling at the beauty and mystery below. They soon reached a dark, foreboding part of the woods where the trees were twisted and the air thick with magic. In the center stood an ancient, gnarled tree with a hollow trunk. "This is where your final challenge lies," the griffin said. "Inside the tree, you must face your greatest fear." Orion took a deep breath and stepped into the hollow tree. Inside, he was engulfed in darkness, and the whispers of the forest grew louder, turning into taunts and jeers. Shadows formed around him, embodying his deepest fears and doubts. But Orion remembered his purpose and the people he loved. With courage in his heart, he faced the shadows and they dissipated, revealing a hidden passage. At the end of the passage, Orion emerged into a breathtaking grove bathed in silvery moonlight. In the center of the grove bloomed the moonlight flower, its petals shimmering like stars. Overwhelmed with awe, Orion approached the flower and plucked it gently. As he did, the grove filled with a radiant light, and a soothing voice echoed, "You have shown bravery, kindness, and a pure heart. Your wish shall be granted." With the flower in hand, Orion wished for his kingdom to be freed from the curse. Instantly, he was transported back to his kingdom, where the sun was shining, the rivers flowing, and the fields lush with crops. The curse was lifted, and the people rejoiced. Prince Orion's journey became a legend, a tale of courage and kindness that was told for generations. The Whispering Woods remained a place of mystery, but also of hope and magic. And every 100 years, the moonlight flower would bloom again, waiting for another pure-hearted soul to find it. And they lived happily ever after. The end. Once upon a time, in a land where the moon bathed everything in silver light, there was a quaint village named Lunalore. The village was nestled in a valley surrounded by rolling hills and dense forests. It was known for its beautiful moonlit nights, when the moon seemed to touch the earth with its soft glow. In Lunalore lived a young girl named Mira. Mira had a special gift: she could talk to plants. From the tiniest flower to the tallest tree, Mira understood their whispers and songs. Every evening, she would wander the woods, tending to the plants and listening to their stories. One clear night, as Mira walked through the forest, she came across a hidden path she had never seen before. Curiosity piqued, she followed it until she reached a gate made of intertwined silver vines. The gate was adorned with glowing moonstones that shimmered in the moonlight. Mira gently pushed the gate open and stepped inside. Beyond the gate lay a breathtaking garden unlike anything Mira had ever seen. The garden was filled with luminescent flowers, their petals glowing softly in various shades of blue, pink, and violet. The air was filled with a sweet, enchanting fragrance, and the sound of delicate music seemed to emanate from the flowers themselves. In the center of the garden stood a grand, ancient oak tree with a hollow trunk.
What the dog doing?
Mira approached the tree and noticed a small, intricately carved box nestled inside the hollow. The box was covered in strange, glowing symbols that seemed to pulse with the rhythm of the moonlight. As Mira reached for the box, a gentle voice spoke from behind her. "Welcome, kind soul," said a graceful fairy who appeared from among the flowers. Her wings sparkled like stardust, and her eyes twinkled with kindness. "I am Luna, the guardian of the moonlit garden." Mira, amazed and excited, responded, "Hello, Luna. This garden is magical. What is this box?" Luna smiled. "This box holds the secret of the moonlit garden. It contains a powerful magic that has been hidden away for centuries. To unlock its power, one must prove their heart is pure and their intentions noble." Mira felt a sense of purpose and asked, "How can I prove that?" Luna floated closer and explained, "The box can only be opened by answering 3 riddles. Each riddle is a test of wisdom, compassion, and bravery. If you succeed, the secret within will be revealed." With determination in her eyes, Mira nodded. Luna began with the first riddle. "I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have nobody, but I come alive with the wind. What am I?" Mira thought carefully and then said, "An echo." The symbols on the box glowed warmly, and Luna nodded approvingly. "You have answered correctly. Now, for the second riddle, I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I?" Mira pondered the riddle and then answered, "A joke." The box's glow intensified, and Luna's smile widened. "Well done. Now, the final riddle, I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?" Mira considered the riddle carefully. She thought of the things she had seen and experienced in her life. Finally, she said, "A fire." With that answer, the box's glow became blindingly bright.
That is not medicine.
The lid of the box slowly opened, revealing a shimmering orb of moonlight. The orb floated gently out of the box and hovered in front of Mira and Luna.
That was not medicine.
Luna spoke with reverence. "This is the heart of the garden. It holds the magic that keeps this garden alive and thriving. With its power, you can bring prosperity and harmony to your village." Mira was awestruck and asked, "How can I use this magic?" Luna's eyes shone with a gentle light. "The magic of the heart is meant to be shared. Use it with kindness and wisdom to help those in need. It will guide you in your journey." Mira took the heart of the garden with great care. As she left the magical garden and returned to her village, she carried with her a newfound sense of purpose. She used the garden's magic to help the villagers, heal the land, and bring joy and prosperity to Lunalore. The village flourished under Mira's care, and the garden remained a secret place of wonder, known only to those with a pure heart and noble intentions. And so, Mira's legend grew, and her name was remembered in stories and songs as the girl who discovered the secret of the moonlit garden and used its magic to bring light and love to her world. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, there was a charming little shop known as the Enchanted Teacup. This shop was famous far and wide for its exquisite collection of teacups and teapots, each more beautiful than the last. The shop's owner, a kind old woman named Miss Aloan, was known for her magical touch with tea leaves and her ability to make every visitor feel special. One sunny afternoon, a curious young girl named Ella entered the shop. Ella was known for her boundless curiosity and a heart full of dreams. She had heard tales of Miss Aloan's magical teacups and hoped to find something extraordinary. As Ella wandered through the shop, she marveled at the teacups that sparkled with every color of the rainbow and the teapots that seemed to hum softly with their own melodies. Each piece had its own unique charm, but one teacup in particular caught her eye. It was an elegant, deep blue cup adorned with intricate gold patterns that seemed to dance in the light. Miss Aloan noticed Ella's fascination and smiled warmly. "Ah, you found the enchanted teacup," she said. "This teacup is special. It's said to grant one wish to whoever drinks from it with a pure heart." Ella's eyes widened. One wish? Really? Miss Aloan nodded. Yes, but remember, it must be a wish from the heart, and you must drink tea brewed with genuine kindness. Ella thought long and hard about her wish. She wished for something that would not only bring happiness to herself but also to those around her. Finally, she made her decision. She purchased the teacup and promised to return with a story of how it had granted her wish. Back at home, Ella brewed a pot of tea, carefully following the instructions Miss Aloan had given her. She added a sprinkle of kindness and a dash of love to the pot. As she poured the tea into the enchanted teacup, she closed her eyes and made her wish. I wish for a way to bring happiness to my village, she whispered. The tea in the enchanted teacup shimmered with a soft, golden light, and a sweet, calming aroma filled the room. Ella drank the tea with a sense of anticipation, hoping her wish would come true. The next morning, Ella awoke to find something magical had happened. As she stepped outside, she noticed that the entire village was alive with vibrant colors and joyful sounds. The flowers in the gardens had bloomed into dazzling arrays of colors, and the air was filled with the sweet music of birds singing harmonies. Ella discovered that the villagers had been inspired by the magic of the enchanted teacup. Each person had been touched by a sense of joy and creativity, and they had worked together to beautify the village and spread happiness. The children painted murals on the walls, the artisans crafted delightful decorations, and the bakers made delicious treats for everyone to enjoy. Ella felt a warm glow of happiness as she walked through the village. She realized that the true magic of the enchanted teacup was not just in granting a wish, but in inspiring people to come together and create something wonderful. As the days went by, the village continued to thrive with its newfound joy. Miss Aloan visited the village to see the transformation and was delighted by what she saw. She thanked Ella for showing the true power of the enchanted teacup. Ella's wish had not only brought happiness to her village but had also taught her an important lesson, that the magic of kindness and unity was the most powerful magic of all. The enchanted teacup was returned to Miss Aloan's shop, ready to grant another wish when the time was right. And so, the village remained a place of beauty and joy, where every heart was touched by the magic of a single wish made with love and kindness. The moonlit melody. Once upon a time, in a kingdom where the mountains kissed the sky and rivers sang lullabies, there was a hidden village called Leora. Leora was known for its breathtaking beauty and its connection to the stars. Each night, the village was bathed in moonlight that seemed to dance to an enchanting melody, a melody that only the pure-hearted could hear. In Leora lived a young girl named Ilara. Ilara was an orphan who had been raised by her grandmother, who was the village's storyteller. Though Ilara's life was modest, she had a gift for playing the harp, and her music was said to bring comfort and joy to all who heard it. Yet, despite her talent, Ilara felt a deep yearning within her heart, a desire to understand the source of the moonlit melody that filled the village with magic. A mysterious gift. One evening, as the harvest moon rose high in the sky, Ilara was walking along the edge of the village. The moonlight was especially radiant, casting an otherworldly glow over the landscape. As she strolled, she noticed a small, silver box glimmering in the grass. She picked it up and opened it to find a delicate, moonstone pendant. Attached to the pendant was a note written in elegant script, to uncover the secret of the moonlit melody, wear this pendant and follow the path of light. Ilara felt a surge of excitement and curiosity. She clasped the pendant around her neck and watched as the moonlight seemed to intensify, forming a shimmering path leading towards the mountains. The path of light. With determination, Ilara followed the luminous path. As she ventured deeper into the forest, the light grew brighter, guiding her towards a hidden grove. The trees in the grove were adorned with glistening silver leaves that rustled softly in the breeze. At the center of the grove stood an ancient, majestic tree with branches that reached towards the sky. Ilara approached the tree and noticed that its trunk had a door carved into it. She hesitated for a moment, then gently pushed open the door, revealing a spiral staircase leading down into the earth. The enchanted chamber. At the bottom of the staircase, Ilara entered a vast underground chamber bathed in moonlight. The walls of the chamber were lined with glittering crystals, and at the center of the room was an exquisite harp with strings made of silver and moonbeams. The harp seemed to hum with a gentle, magical energy. As Elara approached the harp, a soft voice echoed through the chamber. "Welcome, Elara. You have been chosen to unlock the heart of the moonlit melody." Elara looked around and saw a graceful figure emerge from the shadows, a moonlit guardian with shimmering wings and a serene presence. The guardian spoke, "The harp you see before you holds the essence of the moonlit melody. To awaken its magic, you must play a tune from your heart, one that reflects the purity and love within you." The moonlit melody. Elara took a deep breath and began to play the harp. Her fingers danced across the strings, and as she played, a beautiful, celestial melody filled the chamber. The notes were pure and radiant, echoing the harmony of the moonlight above. The melody seemed to weave through the air, carrying a sense of peace and wonder. As the final note lingered, the chamber was enveloped in a dazzling light. The moonlight streaming through the crystals became a cascade of shimmering rays, and the harp's magic began to spread beyond the chamber, reaching the village of Leora. A magical transformation. Back in Leora, the villagers gathered in awe as the moonlight transformed into a magnificent spectacle. The sky sparkled with constellations that formed shapes and patterns, telling stories of old. The moonlight danced across the village, bringing with it a sense of joy and unity. Elara returned to the village, her heart filled with a profound sense of fulfillment. The villagers welcomed her with open arms, and the magic of the moonlit melody became a cherished part of their lives. The village thrived, and Elara's music continued to bring comfort and happiness to all. The legacy. The story of Elara and the moonlit melody became a treasured tale in Leora, a reminder of the magic that exists when we follow our hearts and embrace the beauty around us. The moonstone pendant was passed down through generations, a symbol of the bond between the moon and the people of Leora. And so, under the watchful gaze of the moon and the enchanting melodies that graced the village, Leora remained a land of magic and harmony, forever blessed by the heart of one extraordinary young girl. In a tranquil corner of the world, nestled between rolling hills and lush forests, lay the village of Evergreen. This village was known for its serene beauty and its most enchanting feature, the Whispering Glade. The glade was a mystical forest where trees whispered secrets to those who listened closely and where moonlight danced on leaves, creating a shimmering, magical glow. The guardian of this enchanting place was an elderly woman named Elara. Elara had lived in Evergreen all her life and was known for her wisdom and kindness. Her greatest joy was tending to the Whispering Glade, which had been a source of wonder and comfort for the villagers for generations. One evening, as twilight turned the sky into a canvas of pink and gold, a young girl named Lily arrived at Evergreen. Lily was curious and brave, with a heart full of wonder. She had heard tales of the Whispering Glade and its magical secrets and came to see if the stories were true. The glade's secret. Elara welcomed Lily warmly and agreed to take her to the Whispering Glade. As they walked through the forest, Elara explained that the glade was special because it held a powerful secret, one that was protected by a hidden enchantment. This secret was a magical crystal known as the Heart of the Glade. The crystal had the power to grant one true wish, but only to someone who proved their worthiness. When they reached the heart of the glade, a small, clear pool surrounded by ancient trees, Elara pointed out the crystal nestled at the pool's center. It glowed softly, casting a serene light across the glade. The challenge of courage. Elara told Lily that to be worthy of making a wish, she must face 3 challenges that tested her courage, kindness, and wisdom. The first challenge was to retrieve a special leaf from the top of the tallest tree in the glade. Lily looked up at the towering tree, its branches reaching high into the sky. With determination, she began to climb. The tree's branches were thick and gnarled, but Lily's courage and perseverance helped her overcome her fears. She reached the top and carefully plucked the shimmering leaf, which glowed with a soft light. The challenge of kindness. Next, Elara led Lily to a small clearing where a magical creature called a Lumisprite was trapped in a net of sparkling threads. The Lumisprite was crying softly, and its light was dimming. Elara explained that the Lumisprite was the guardian of the second challenge, which tested kindness. Lily approached the Lumisprite gently, speaking soothingly. She carefully freed it from the net, using a delicate touch to avoid hurting it. The Lumisprite's light brightened as it felt Lily's compassion. Grateful, it revealed a hidden path through the glade, leading to the final challenge. The challenge of wisdom. The final challenge was to solve a riddle that would reveal the location of the heart of the glade. At the end of the hidden path, Lily found an ancient stone with inscriptions. The riddle read, "I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I?" Lily thought carefully. The answer came to her as she remembered the stories and games she enjoyed. With a confident smile, she answered, "A joke." The stone shifted, revealing a hidden compartment containing the heart of the glade. The true wish. With the heart of the glade in hand, Lily faced her most important decision. Elara had told her that the wish must be selfless, made with the purest of intentions. Lily closed her eyes and thought deeply about what her wish should be. She remembered the stories of how the glade had brought joy and comfort to the villagers of Evergreen. She wished for the Whispering Glade to remain a place of magic and wonder for future generations, so that its beauty and secrets could continue to bring happiness to those who visit it. The heart of the glade glowed brightly, and a soft, musical whisper filled the air, spreading across the forest. The trees swayed gently, and the glade's magic was renewed, stronger and more vibrant than ever. A new guardian. Elara smiled proudly at Lily. The magic of the glade had been restored, and the wish had been fulfilled. Lily's kindness, courage, and wisdom had proven her worthiness. As a reward for her pure heart, Elara offered Lily a special role as the new guardian of the Whispering Glade. Lily accepted with joy, knowing she would help preserve the magic of the glade and share its wonders with others. Lily became a beloved guardian, guiding visitors through the glade and teaching them the values of courage, kindness, and wisdom. The Whispering Glade continued to shine with magical light, a timeless sanctuary where dreams came alive and the whispers of the forest could be heard. And so, in the village of Evergreen, the Whispering Glade remained a beacon of magic and wonder, thanks to the bravery and selflessness of a young girl who embraced the enchantment of the forest and made a wish that would be remembered forever. The end. Once upon a time, in a land where magic and reality intertwined seamlessly, there was a mystical forest known as the Enchanted Forest of Serendipity. The forest was renowned for its enchanting beauty and the peculiar magic that seemed to have a mind of its own. It was said that those who ventured into the forest would find what they most needed, though not always what they expected. In the heart of a quaint village on the edge of this forest lived a young girl named Elara. She was known throughout the village for her kindness and curious spirit. Elara had always dreamed of adventure beyond the village's borders and often found herself gazing wistfully into the depths of the enchanted forest. One crisp autumn morning, as the leaves rustled with the whisper of a breeze, Elara discovered a peculiar old map in her grandmother's attic. The map was adorned with intricate patterns and the glowing, mysterious inscription that read, "To find what you seek, follow the path of light and listen to the whispers of the ancient trees." Elara's heart raced with excitement. She decided that today was the day she would explore the forest and uncover its secrets. Packing a small satchel with essentials, she set out towards the enchanted forest. As she entered the forest, the atmosphere changed. The air shimmered with a gentle, golden light, and the trees seemed to hum with a soft, melodious tune. Elara followed the map, which led her along a winding path bathed in a warm, ethereal glow. The further she ventured, the more the forest revealed its wonders. The trees began to speak to her, their voices soft and rustling. They told her of a hidden glade deep within the forest where dreams and reality intertwined. The glade was said to hold the answers to any question and the key to one's deepest desires. After hours of walking, guided by the whispers of the trees, Elara reached a serene glade surrounded by ancient oaks. In the center of the glade stood a magnificent fountain made of shimmering crystal. Its waters sparkled with every color of the rainbow, casting a kaleidoscope of lights across the clearing. Elara approached the fountain and saw a small inscription on its base, "Speak your heart's true desire, and the forest will grant you wisdom." Taking a deep breath, Elara closed her eyes and whispered her wish. "I seek to understand the true meaning of adventure and to discover my purpose in this world." As she spoke, the water in the fountain began to swirl and rise, forming a vision in the air. Elara saw scenes of her village, her family, and her own life interspersed with images of distant lands and people she had never met. The vision revealed that true adventure was not merely about exploring new places but about understanding and embracing one's role in the world. When the vision faded, Elara felt a profound sense of clarity. She realized that her purpose was not only to seek adventures far and wide but also to bring the magic and wonder she found back to her village. It was her destiny to inspire and uplift those around her, sharing the beauty and wisdom she encountered. As she prepared to leave the glade, the forest seemed to pulse with approval. The trees whispered their blessings, and the golden light of the path guided her back to the village. Elara returned home with a heart full of wonder and a renewed sense of purpose. She began sharing her tales of the enchanted forest and the lessons she had learned. Her stories captivated the villagers, sparking their imaginations and encouraging them to seek their own adventures. The village thrived under Elara's newfound wisdom. People began to cherish their own lives more deeply, finding magic in their everyday routines. The enchanted forest remained a place of mystery and wonder, but now, it was a symbol of the possibilities that lay within each person's heart. And so, Elara lived out her days as a storyteller and dreamer, her life an adventure in itself, bringing joy and inspiration to all who crossed her path. The enchanted forest continued to be a place where dreams were born. And adventure was always just a step away. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a faraway land known as Starlight Valley, there lived a young girl named Lyra. Starlight Valley was renowned for its brilliant night skies, where the stars shimmered like diamonds and seemed almost within reach. The valley's people believed that the stars were not just distant lights but the guardians of dreams and wishes. Among the villagers, Lyra was known for her deep fascination with the stars. Her father, an old stargazer, had told her stories about the Starcatcher, a mythical figure who could capture falling stars and make wishes come true. Lyra had always dreamed of becoming a starcatcher herself, but no one had seen one in many years, and the magic of the stars had become a distant memory for many. One crisp autumn night, while gazing at the sky, Lyra saw a shooting star fall from the heavens and land somewhere in the whispering woods that bordered the valley. She took it as a sign and decided to embark on a quest to find the fallen star and bring back its magic. Armed with a small satchel, a lantern, and her trusty compass, Lyra ventured into the whispering woods. The woods were alive with the sounds of chirping crickets and rustling leaves, and the path ahead was bathed in the soft glow of moonlight. As she ventured deeper, she encountered a wise old owl perched on a low branch. "Greetings, young seeker," the owl hooted. "To find the fallen star, you must first prove your worth. Solve this riddle to continue on your quest. I have cities but no houses, forests but no trees, and rivers but no water. What am I?" Lyra pondered for a moment and answered, "A map." The owl's eyes gleamed with approval. "You are correct. Follow the path of glowing mushrooms to find your next challenge." Lyra thanked the owl and followed the path of mushrooms, which led her to a tranquil glade. In the center of the glade stood an ancient stone archway, and beyond it was a shimmering pool of crystal-clear water. Guarding the pool was a graceful, silver-scaled fish with a golden tail. To retrieve the fallen star, the fish said, "You must show your true heart. To do so, you must answer this question: what is the one thing that grows stronger the more you give it away?" Lyra thought deeply and replied, "Friendship." The fish smiled and flicked its golden tail, causing the waters of the pool to part and reveal a hidden path. Lyra followed the path and arrived at a majestic, glowing cave where the star lay nestled in a bed of stardust. As Lyra approached the star, it began to speak in a soft, musical voice. "To release my magic, you must make a wish from your heart. But remember, true magic lies not in what you wish for yourself, but in what you wish for others." Lyra closed her eyes and thought about her village, which had faced many hardships and challenges. She made her wish for the well-being and happiness of everyone in Starlight Valley, hoping to bring joy and prosperity to her people. The star glowed brightly, and a wave of light spread from the cave, traveling across the valley. The night sky above Starlight Valley sparkled more brilliantly than ever, and the villagers awoke to find their lives transformed. The crops thrived, the river flowed with crystal clear water, and a sense of harmony and joy enveloped the valley. When Lyra returned to her village, she was greeted with cheers and celebrations. The people marveled at the newfound prosperity and thanked Lyra for her bravery and selflessness. They celebrated her as a hero, and the tale of her quest became a beloved story passed down through generations. The stars' magic continued to shine brightly in the night sky, a reminder of Lyra's noble wish and the power of selfless acts. Starlight Valley flourished, and the stars above seemed to shine even more brightly, guiding and inspiring all who looked up to them. And so, the kingdom of Starlight Valley thrived, with the magic of the stars and the kindness of a brave young girl bringing lasting happiness to the land. And they all lived happily ever after. The tale of the Starlit Bridge. In a serene kingdom surrounded by rolling meadows and shimmering lakes, there was a quaint village known for its peace and prosperity. But there was one mystery that intrigued everyone: the Starlit Bridge, a majestic bridge that spanned the grand river dividing the kingdom. Legend had it that the bridge was built by a celestial being and had the power to grant a single wish to those who crossed it under the light of the full moon. The Starlit Bridge was always bathed in a soft, glowing light that made it look like it was made of stars. But no one had ever been able to make a wish come true, and over time, the bridge had become a symbol of hope rather than fulfillment. In this village lived a brave and kind-hearted young woman named Alara. She was known for her beautiful voice and her love for helping others. Despite the many hardships the villagers faced, Alara always maintained a hopeful spirit, believing that the magic of the Starlit Bridge could one day be real. One evening, as the full moon rose high in the sky, Alara decided it was time to see if the legend was true. She carefully prepared a small pouch with a token of each person in the village: a piece of thread from a grandmother's quilt, a button from a child's coat, a feather from a farmer's hat, each item representing the hopes and dreams of her fellow villagers. With the pouch in hand and a heart full of hope, Alara made her way to the Starlit Bridge. As she stepped onto the bridge, the soft, starry glow seemed to welcome her. She walked slowly, taking in the shimmering beauty of the bridge and the reflection of the moonlight on the river below. At the center of the bridge, Alara paused and took out the pouch. She closed her eyes and whispered her wish. "I wish for the well-being and happiness of my village. May their dreams come true and may they find the prosperity they deserve." As Alara finished her wish, the bridge's light grew brighter, and a gentle breeze carried the starry glow across the river. The water began to shimmer with a radiant light, and the stars in the sky seemed to dance in harmony with the moon's reflection. Suddenly, a figure appeared before her, a graceful being with shimmering wings and a gown made of stardust. It was the celestial guardian of the Starlit Bridge. The guardian smiled warmly at Alara. "Your wish has been heard, dear child," the guardian said with a voice as gentle as the night breeze. "You have given your heart selflessly for the sake of others. Because of your pure spirit, I will grant the wish you have made." The guardian reached out and touched the pouch of tokens. As she did, the items glowed with a magical light. The stars in the sky aligned to form a beautiful constellation that seemed to bless the village with a warm, golden light. "The magic of the Starlit Bridge is not just in the wishing but in the selflessness and love you have shown," the guardian continued. "Your village will soon find the happiness and prosperity they seek." With a wave of her hand, the celestial guardian faded into the night sky, leaving Alara with a heart full of joy and hope. As she walked back to the village, she saw the first signs of change. The fields were beginning to bloom with vibrant colors, the villagers were smiling and working together, and a sense of prosperity was in the air. Alara's wish had indeed come true. The village thrived, and the Starlit Bridge became a cherished symbol of the power of selflessness and hope. The villagers celebrated with a grand feast and a festival under the stars, honoring Alara's courage and the magic of the bridge. From that day on, the story of Alara and the Starlit Bridge was told and retold, reminding everyone that the true magic of the world lies in the kindness and love we share with others. And as the stars continued to shine brightly over the bridge, the village lived in harmony and happiness, forever touched by the enchanting tale of the Starlit Bridge. And they all lived happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed this fairy tale. Once upon a time, in the heart of a mystical forest, there was a village called Elderglen. The village was known for its enchanting lanterns that glowed with a warm, golden light. Each lantern had its own unique magic, bringing warmth and cheer to the villagers even on the coldest nights. In this village lived a kind-hearted girl named Leora. She had a special lantern that had been passed down through generations in her family. This lantern was unlike any other. It was said to hold the light of 1,000 sunsets and to possess the power to reveal hidden truths. One crisp autumn evening, as the leaves turned shades of red and gold, a dense fog rolled into Elderglen. The fog was so thick that it seemed to swallow the village in its embrace, leaving the villagers disoriented and frightened. No matter how hard they tried, they couldn't find their way through the fog. Leora, who was known for her bravery, decided to use her lantern to help the villagers. She took her lantern and stepped outside, where the fog seemed to grow even denser. She held up the lantern high, hoping its light would cut through the murkiness. To her surprise, the lantern's glow began to shimmer and dance, casting magical patterns in the fog. The golden light seemed to draw the fog away, revealing a shimmering path leading deeper into the forest. Leora followed the path with her lantern, determined to uncover the source of the fog and find a way to clear it. As she ventured further into the forest, the trees whispered secrets, and the air grew cooler. The path led her to a hidden glade where a majestic, ancient tree stood at its center. The tree was adorned with glowing crystals that pulsed with a soft, ethereal light. Beneath the tree, Leora discovered a small, silver box. The box was engraved with intricate symbols and appeared to be locked. With a sense of urgency, Leora placed her lantern next to the box. The lantern's light seemed to interact with the symbols on the box, causing them to glow. Suddenly, the box opened with a gentle click, revealing a delicate, golden key inside. The key was intricately designed, with a heart-shaped handle and a shimmering blade. Leora took the key and looked around, sensing that it was meant for something important. Following her intuition, Leora noticed a faint glow emanating from a hidden alcove in the tree. She approached and found a small door nestled within the tree trunk. With a deep breath, she used the golden key to unlock the door. As it swung open, a burst of bright light filled the glade. The light revealed a magnificent fairy queen with wings that sparkled like the night sky. She hovered gracefully before Leora and spoke in a voice as soft as a summer breeze. "Thank you, brave Leora, for finding the key and unlocking the magic of the ancient tree." The fog that enveloped Elderglen was a spell cast by a forgotten enchantress, who wished to test the hearts of those who would seek to help others. The fairy queen explained that the enchantress had once been a guardian of the forest but had been forgotten over time. Her spell was intended to find someone with a pure heart who could restore balance to the forest and the village. Leora listened with awe as the fairy queen continued. "You have proven your bravery and kindness, Leora. By unlocking the tree and restoring the magic, you have broken the enchantress's spell. The fog will lift from Elderglen, and the village will be safe once more." With a wave of her hand, the fairy queen conjured a magical breeze that swept through the forest. The fog began to dissolve, revealing the village in all its glory. The lanterns of Elderglen glowed even brighter, reflecting the joy and relief of the villagers. Leora returned to the village with her lantern, greeted by cheers and gratitude from her fellow villagers. They celebrated her bravery and the magical lantern that had guided her through the fog. The fairy queen appeared one last time to thank Leora personally. "Your lantern will always hold a special place in the heart of the forest. Its light will continue to guide and protect those who seek to bring kindness and help to others." From that day on, Leora's lantern became a symbol of hope and courage in Elderglen. The village thrived, and the lanterns continued to shine brightly, reminding everyone of the magic that lies in a heart willing to help and the importance of bravery in the face of challenges. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between rolling hills in a dense, ancient forest, there lived a girl named Elara. Elara was known for her kindness and her fascination with the stories her grandmother told her. Her favorite was the tale of the silver feather, a magical feather that could grant one wish to whoever found it. One warm summer night, as the village prepared for the annual moon festival, Elara decided to wander into the forest. She hoped to catch a glimpse of the magical creatures that were said to come out under the full moon. Armed with a lantern and a heart full of curiosity, she ventured into the woods. The forest was alive with the sounds of chirping crickets and rustling leaves. As Alara walked deeper, she noticed a soft, silvery light shimmering through the trees. Following the light, she came to a clearing with a beautiful pond. The pond's surface reflected the full moon, and on a lily pad in the center of the pond lay a single silver feather, glowing with an ethereal light. Alara's heart raced. Could this be the legendary silver feather? She carefully waded into the pond, her eyes fixed on the feather. Just as she reached out to grasp it, a voice echoed through the clearing. "Who dares to disturb my slumber?" Alara looked around and saw a magnificent swan gliding towards her. The swan's feathers glowed with a soft light, and its eyes sparkled like stars. "I am Alara," she said, bowing respectfully. "I did not mean to disturb you. I was drawn to this beautiful feather." The swan nodded. "I am Seraphina, the guardian of the silver feather. Many have sought its power, but only the pure of heart may make a wish. Tell me, Alara, what is it that you desire?" Alara thought for a moment. She could wish for anything: wealth, fame, power. But then she remembered the stories her grandmother told about the hardships faced by the villagers during long, harsh winters. "I wish for my village to always have enough food and warmth during the cold winters," Alara said. Seraphina's eyes softened. "A selfless wish indeed. Very well, Alara. Your wish shall be granted." The silver feather glowed even brighter, and a warm light enveloped Alara. When the light faded, she found herself back at the edge of the pond, holding the feather. Seraphina had vanished, but Alara felt a sense of peace and fulfillment. The next morning, Alara returned to the village with the silver feather. She told the villagers about her encounter with Seraphina and her wish. To their amazement, the village's crops began to grow more bountifully than ever before, and the animals provided plenty of food and warmth. Years passed, and Alara's village thrived, never again fearing the cold winters. The silver feather was placed in the village square as a reminder of the kindness and selflessness that had brought prosperity to them all. Alara grew up to be a wise and beloved leader of her village, always putting the needs of her people first. The tale of the silver feather in the moonlit pond became a legend, passed down from generation to generation, inspiring acts of kindness and selflessness. And so, the village nestled between the rolling hills and the ancient forest lived happily ever after, under the watchful gaze of the full moon and the glowing silver feather. The end. Once upon a time, in a kingdom not found on any map, there was a realm of gears and magic called Clockwork. This land was ruled by a wise and kind-hearted queen named Alara. Queen Alara was no ordinary monarch, she had a special gift. Her heart was connected to the kingdom's grand clock, a magnificent timepiece that ticked rhythmically at the center of the capital city. This clock wasn't just for telling time, it governed the very essence of magic in the land. The kingdom thrived in harmony, thanks to the clock. Every tick brought a fresh bloom of flowers, and every tock sent a gentle breeze to cool the land. However, this perfect balance was threatened one fateful day when a mysterious shadowy figure appeared at the edge of the kingdom. This figure was none other than an envious sorcerer named Malachi, who had longed for the magic of the Clockwork Kingdom. He harbored a dark spell that could halt the grand clock's gears, plunging the land into chaos. Disguised as a humble traveler, Malachi entered the kingdom and managed to slip into the palace unnoticed. There, he whispered his spell into the heart of the clock. As the spell took hold, the once harmonious ticking of the clock began to falter. Flowers wilted, and the breeze turned into a harsh wind. Queen Alara, sensing the imbalance, knew that something was terribly wrong. She called upon her trusted advisor, a clever mechanical owl named Hoot, and together they set out to find the source of the disturbance. Hoot's mechanical eyes scanned the kingdom's clockwork machinery while Alara used her magic to sense the disruption. They soon discovered the dark enchantment at the heart of the clock. Realizing the urgency of the situation, Alara and Hoot needed to act quickly to save their beloved kingdom. They set out on a perilous journey to find the only thing that could break Malachi's spell, a legendary artifact known as the Crystal Key. This key was said to be hidden deep within the enchanted forest, guarded by ancient beings and tricky puzzles. The enchanted forest was no ordinary woodland. Its trees whispered secrets, and its paths shifted with every step. Ilara and Hoot ventured deeper into the forest, facing numerous challenges. They solved riddles posed by talking animals, navigated through shifting illusions, and even braved the trials of the forest guardian, a majestic stag with eyes like glowing emeralds. At the heart of the forest, they finally reached the hidden sanctuary where the crystal key lay. It was a radiant gem that pulsed with a soft, inviting glow. But to retrieve it, they needed to answer one final riddle posed by the guardian: what binds time and magic together, yet never can be seen? Ilara thought deeply, her mind racing through the magical principles she had learned over the years. Then it struck her. "It is the essence of balance," she exclaimed. The guardian's eyes sparkled with approval, and the crystal key floated into her hands. With the crystal key in their possession, Ilara and Hoot raced back to the kingdom. As they approached the grand clock, Malachi reappeared, furious at their success. He tried to unleash his dark magic once more, but Ilara was ready. She used the crystal key to counteract the spell, and with a surge of magic, the grand clock began to tick smoothly once again. The kingdom's harmony was restored. Flowers bloomed, and the breeze became gentle once more. Malachi, realizing he was defeated, fled into the shadows, never to be seen again. Queen Ilara and Hoot were celebrated as heroes. The kingdom rejoiced in their restored magic and balance. From that day on, the grand clock continued its steady rhythm, and the people of Clockwork lived in peace and prosperity. And as for Ilara, she never forgot the lesson that balance was the key to harmony, and that even in times of darkness, courage and wisdom could restore the light. And so, in the enchanted land of Clockwork, time ticked on, carrying with it the magic of harmony in the legacy of a brave queen and her loyal friend. And they all lived happily ever after. The end. Once upon a time, in a quaint village surrounded by dense forests and rolling hills, there was a small, humble cottage owned by a kind woman named Ilara. Ilara was known for her generous spirit and her love for all living things. Her garden was always blooming, and animals from far and wide came to her for help. One evening, as the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the land, Ilara was tending to her garden when she noticed a strange, golden light flickering among the flowers. Curious, she followed the light and discovered an old, dusty lantern buried under a pile of leaves. Ilara carefully picked up the lantern and brushed off the dirt. The lantern was ornately decorated with intricate patterns of stars and moons. It seemed to hum softly in her hands, as if it held a secret. As she brought the lantern inside and placed it on her mantle, the golden light grew brighter. With a soft click, the lantern's door opened, and out floated a tiny, shimmering fairy. The fairy's wings sparkled like diamonds, and her smile was as warm as sunlight. "Thank you for freeing me," the fairy said with a voice as gentle as a summer breeze. "I am Leora, the guardian fairy of wishes. For freeing me, I will grant you one wish." Ilara was amazed but also a bit puzzled. She thought about what she might wish for. She had everything she needed and wanted nothing for herself. After a moment's reflection, she said, "I wish for a way to help everyone in our village." Leora's eyes twinkled, and she waved her wand, sending a burst of sparkling light into the lantern. "Your wish is granted. This lantern will now shine with a magical light that can bring joy and aid to those in need. But remember, the light only works if the heart behind it is pure." With that, Leora vanished back into the lantern, leaving Ilara with a sense of wonder and responsibility. The next day, a storm hit the village, leaving the villagers in a state of disarray. Homes were damaged, and spirits were low. Ilara knew this was the time to use the lantern's magic. She carried the lantern through the village, holding it high so that its warm, golden light could shine upon everyone. Wherever the light touched, flowers began to bloom, broken things were mended, and smiles appeared on the villagers' faces. The lantern's light spread joy and hope, transforming the village into a place of renewed happiness. But as the days went by, Elara noticed something even more magical. The lantern's light began to reveal hidden talents in the villagers. The blacksmith, who had always been gruff, found joy in creating beautiful sculptures. The baker, once shy, discovered a talent for storytelling that brought laughter to the village. The lantern's light helped each person find their own unique gift and encouraged them to share it with others. One evening, as the village celebrated their newfound joy and prosperity, Elara noticed that the lantern's light had dimmed. She was concerned but remembered Leora's words about a pure heart. She knew that the lantern's magic depended on the kindness of the one who carried it. Elara thought deeply and realized that the true magic was not in the lantern itself but in the way it had brought the villagers together and helped them discover their own potential. She decided to pass the lantern on to someone else in need, trusting that its magic would continue to spread. As she prepared to hand over the lantern, Leora reappeared, her eyes shining with approval. "You have used the lantern's magic wisely, Elara. The light it gave was a reflection of your own kindness and generosity. Remember, the greatest magic of all is the kindness in your heart." Elara smiled and handed the lantern to a young woman who had just moved to the village. She hoped that the lantern would continue to bring joy and inspiration to others. And so, the village thrived, and the enchanted lantern continued its journey, lighting up the lives of those who needed it most. Elara's selflessness and the lantern's magic became a cherished story in the village, a reminder that true magic lies in the kindness we share with others. And they all lived happily ever after. The end.